This life is a daydream. Our time is a precious thing. We're searching for meaning in the highs and the lows we've seen. When all is said and done, standing on the bright side, can't believe how far we've come. We've only just begun. See the world through new eyes, taking us to great heights. Anything is possible, everything is new, and we'll carry each other, running wild into the night, technicolor blue, and we'll carry each other. One chance in a lifetime, won't stop till we get it right. When all is said and done, standing on the bright side, can't believe how far we've come. We've only just begun. See the world through new eyes, taking us to great heights. Anything is possible, everything is new, and we'll carry each other, running wild into the night, technicolor blue, and we'll carry each other. It's our time to believe it. We can fly through the ceiling. Our time to believe it. We can fly through the ceiling. Our time to believe it. We can fly through the ceiling. If we hold on to the feeling, hold on to the feeling. Our time to believe it. We can fly through the ceiling. We'll carry each other, carry each other. Our time to believe it. We can fly through the ceiling. We'll carry each other, carry each other. Anything is possible, everything is new, and we'll carry each other, running wild into the night, technicolor blue, and we'll carry each other, carry each other.
I wanna soak up the sun, blame it on these sweet libations. We're just out here having fun, feeling pretty fly, pretty sky high. Shades November in a technicolor dream. Got no answer for a call from the A-team. This ain't 1983. I see the forest for the trees. Let's go get it. Let the good times begin. Every minute of it, I'm loving every minute of it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. To learn the body to roam. 747 in a narrow zone. Never far
Yeah. Yeah. I'm back here and I'm back on. Stand up like backbone. I'm beast mode, I'm so strong. Go hard or go home. No stopping, I can't stop. I will not lose. I'ma always win. Now let the games begin now. I'm never off my grind. I'm always on time. I'm ahead of the game, I'm first place. I'm in my prime. Hard work that pays off. I pay dues, I'm paid off. Cross me, get crossed off. I'm so fresh, I'm so raw. Go hard like a day. It's game time like game day. I ball hard and clutch play. It's game time like game day. Now let the games begin. Now let the games begin. Now let the games begin. I'ma always win. It's game time and I'm up one. Name something I ain't done. Name a body that's my type. Air Jordan, I'll take flight. I'm next level, I'm franchise. I'm top tier, I'm that guy. I'm the man of the year. I'm a man with no fear. I think like I'm a shark. The way I move so sharp. I go hard for the team. That's how I play my part. I'm solid like the foundation. I'm dedicated to greatness. I always knew I would win. Now let the games begin now. I'm never off my grind. I'm always on time. I'm ahead of the game, I'm first place. I'm in my prime. Hard work that pays off. I pay dues, I'm paid off. Cross me, get crossed off. I'm so fresh, I'm so raw. Go hard like a day. It's game time like game day. I ball hard and clutch play. It's game time like game day. Now let the games begin. Now let the games begin. Now let the games begin. I'ma always win. Everybody get up.
the price for something greater? You lay your life on a floor line when everyone else turns back. It's safer, drown out the fear inside. Will you rise to be heroes? Blood on your knuckles, heroes. The world on your shoulders, heroes. Giving everything you've got, fighting till victory's won. Heroes. One more step, one more breath, one last chance. Don't give up now. One more step, one more breath, one last chance. Don't give up now. One more step, one more breath, one last chance. Don't give up now. One more step, one more breath, one last chance. Don't give up now. Heroes, blood on your knuckles, heroes. The world on your shoulders, heroes. Giving everything you've got, fighting till victory's won. Heroes, now is the time, there's no more waiting. Who will you be when the light dawns?
I'm moving through the heat. This room is hazy. Keep running through the lights inside my head. I find myself a drink, and now it seems I'm 6 or 7 deep. Good God, I'm gonna feel this in the morning, but I don't care right now. I'm gonna keep this party going. So
Sun's up, it's a new day, make the fire. Put your boots on, we about to get higher. Makeup, show up, pick a side, yeah, bring it, got it, stop it. Hey, starting soon, it's a new day, pick it, trigger. Fill up the cup away, leave it by the light, sugar. Bring it, got it, pop it. It's a new generation, decide, got it. Just don't get to zero. Let go, aim your arrow. Break the shackles, prepare for battle. It's here and now. Like a game, we're the stage, strap it in, I'm on a place. It's on, show must go on. Welcome to the moon world, yeah. Like the flame, bring the cage, rage, ripping out the page. It's on, the show must go on. Welcome to the new world. Welcome to the moon, yeah.
It's been a little bit of time, but once again, we return here for T3 Arena League. It's the season finals to close out 2023. Welcome on in. We've got some of the best teams coming your way for the conclusion, really, of this calendar year. Joining me on the couch is the wonderful Guz, and we've also got Shuri that once again will be our expert analysis for today's broadcast. I go to you first, guys. How are you this morning?
Yeah, keen to be back for some more T3. We've got some exciting matches on the agenda today, so there should be a couple of close ones as well. Yep. So it should be good to see some of the best in the game go at it, and yeah, excited to jump in.
Let's welcome on in Shuri, all the way from the land of the free, the North American. It is Shuri. How are you, mate?
I'm doing great, man. Just ready to have some really good games today.
Yeah, we are hopefully going to get some really good matches. I'll continue with you, Shuri. It's been a little while since, of course, we spoke. It's been some time since the last season. A couple of changes have, of course, made their way into T3. If you just sort of want to maybe give us a little bit of a rundown as we head into today, some of the changes for today.
Yep. So the most important things are Victor got a pretty big buff and is huge in the meta now. And then you also have Waline got a buff with her health and also her damage. So now she can two-shot all tanks and live forever. So she's going to be a big part of this as well.
All right, let's quickly go and see how it all works for today and, of course, for tomorrow as well. We had the open bracket, we had the qualifiers, and then, of course, we even had the last chance qualifiers too. Season finals, that's where we're at the moment now, guys.
Yeah, exactly. So we've obviously narrowed it down from 16 teams now into the final 8. So arguably we should have the most competitive teams remaining. Obviously some big names and players individually have returned, and we'll narrow it down to one league champion here for the season.
Yeah, obviously over the course of the next 2 days, so today and tomorrow, to then get that league champion, which ends up then being the champion for the remainder of the state of the year, I guess. Really, I imagine this will most likely be the sort of final tournament for the calendar year. I don't know that personally, but I'm going to just assume. We'll move on forward here, of course, with the rest of the graphics package, because I didn't hear what our producer said. It's the rules and it's the maps, and that is now, of course, the best of 3 for at least all of the games today. The grand final, the only one that will be a best of 5, guys. So it will be the pretty standard control, payload, and then attacking escort if required for the third.
Yeah, I mean, a pretty diverse selection of maps and different game modes are going to be in play. So, as we always say, it's important that these teams have a diverse pool and they're ready for whatever's thrown at them.
Yeah, certainly is the case. We'll go and start to sort of break down a little bit of today's teams and actions and all of that. Really, we've got, we've got 4 matches to be played today, although unfortunately it seems as if we do have one of them that might end up being forfeited. We'll get to all of that later on, but it is going to be a case where we've got at least some of the best teams. That's the beauty of the season finals. We get towards the end of the action and the end of the stage and the year, and we do end up with the best. We've got a lot of those exclusive teams, as we know. We remember them last time, Argons and Easy, and I think that's even the one now called not exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, and again, a lot of names that are commonplace pretty much at this point in the competitive scene of T3. So we'll continue to dive into them as we have a look ahead at that bracket. As you can see, first round, best of 3, leading all the way into the best of 5 grand final, where we will crown our champion of the T3 Arena League for Super Season 2.
Yeah, the 3 games that we'll have today, of course, basically all those best of 3s on the left-hand side of the bracket. Easy Gaming, WKE Beasters then versus non-exclusive, and exclusive Argons versus Dagby later. Sure, I'll get your thoughts on this bracket here. Of course, we'll probably keep it to the 3 games that we've got today, but any of them standing out for you?
Oh yeah, Beasters versus not exclusive. I'm so excited to see that. Beasters actually had a little bit of a roster change, and then not exclusive is a bunch of exclusive players that they just decided they wanted to throw their hat in the ring and made it all the way here. So really excited to see that. And Beasters has been around as a team for so long that I think they have a really good shot at doing it. And some of those players got so much better. It's going to be real nice to see that improvement.
I guess, though, Shuri, this is probably the one portion of this season finals that is going to maybe have some of these more one-sided games, the likes of, say, WKE. We're not too sure if we're probably going to expect them to be able to go up, you know, against, I think it was Easy Exclusive. So do you imagine that if there's going to be any kind of particular one-sided matches, it's going to happen early on?
The WKE team has a bunch of really good rank grinders in it, and like they play together all the time, so they probably have good communication and teamwork. Every time I've been on their team, we've won. So if you can carry me, you can do anything. But the thing is, the exclusive Easy is the people like all the exclusive teams are afraid of.
Yeah.
So it is a very tough match, but I am excited to see what they can do in a comp scene and not just ranked. So it'll be a good test for WKE.
Well, we are heading into that first match very much now, Shuri. I'll quickly get your predictions as we head into it. Easy taking on WKE. Do you give the rank stars any chance?
I'm going easy all the way just because, I mean, they've won the last 2 Arena Leagues, so
They certainly
it's kind of hard to bet against them.
It is very hard to bet against them. Shuri, we'll leave you there. Thank you very much as we head into this first match. Guys, we'll get your predictions, get your thoughts on this one. Probably not quite as knowledgeable as Shuri, of course, our expert for today, but I do want your thoughts on this.
Well, I mean, Shuri's not often wrong, is he? So I'm definitely going to back his prediction heading into what is more than likely going to shape up to be quite a one-sided affair. I think I'm probably looking a little bit further ahead into the bracket to see if they can actually be a contest at making it to the grand final and being competitive in that regard, but they'll need to start off well in this particular matchup. Of course, there's been a couple changes behind the scenes, as Shuri alluded to, in terms of the meta and the format, game modes, maps, etc. So we'll see how they adapt to that, but they've found themselves in this position, so I assume they'll do quite well.
We're just waiting for one player to get themselves into the lobby, I think 1 or 2, and then we should be good. Hopefully only another minute or so, and then from there we'll be able to hopefully get into the game. This is obviously going to be a difficult ask, and one thing that obviously Shuri was talking about, WKE, yeah, their rank stars, yeah, they've had success there. This is a whole different level though. When you get into pro play, competitive play, especially against these exclusive teams who have been here basically time and time again over the last year and a half. So I think that's going to be a difference point, is that you don't have that sort of experience. You don't get much of a chance against them either. So we'll go to the hero bands. We'll see what does take place down below. And Guz, take us through. Aletta gets banned out. So does the Neon. And the Aletta has always been so strong, so viable for us in T3, and once again proves to be that way.
Yeah, I mean, you can look across at those statistics, and Aletta has such a high presence at an 84% pick rate, and often when obviously she's not picked, she's being banned out. So you have to make that decision heading into these games if you want to see the Aletta let through. Neon on the other side, not at quite as high of a presence, but still quite prominent, 51% pick rate. So neither team wanting to deal with those respective heroes, and kind of understandable given the current meta and the current state of the heroes around them.
Yeah, as we head into this one, I think that best of 3, it is only single elimination as well, so you kind of only have one chance to get through the bracket. I can't imagine Easy are going to be holding too much back. Then for them, it's just a matter of get the job done against these ranked stars, which I imagine that they will. I think this probably could even go potentially into the realms of 2-0. I wouldn't be too surprised. We've seen that in the past in a lot of these tournaments. They've come down to basically being those exclusive teams stomp their way towards the back end of the bracket. I'll get Shuri back in, as we are still waiting for this first game, obviously, to begin to progress. What do you think of the bans that have come through, the Neon and the Aletta? Does it sort of change your mind much in this matchup?
I think the Aletta pick was huge because every single person on the exclusive Easy team is a nightmare to play on Aletta, so that was a very good pick. And then Neon is the meta healer, so I'm assuming that they're just trying to get the meta healer out of the way. It's pretty much the only healer you want to pick, and then that's going to make the other team more uncomfortable and maybe have to play some healers they're not used to. So I think that was a good idea. And to be clear, WK does have some of the players on there, like Kombucha Farm was in the last Arena League, and they've also played in other tournaments as well, so like they do have some tournament experience, but at the top of the bracket, being in the finals, they is less experience. So I do want to say they do have some experience, so the nerves might not be there, but it's still going to be a tough one. I think they do have a chance to at least making it a good fight.
You're always a very kind man, Shuri. I think though we've every time we've done these T3 tournaments, it's the team that's called exclusive that typically come away with a win. I don't know if I've seen many exclusive losses from any of the labeled exclusive teams, unless it's at the hands of another exclusive team. Going into the season finals, surely that's still going to be a similar mantra. I know there's dark horses here and there with a couple of teams, the likes of Beasters, who I think have got a very capable roster, but surely once again, it's a case of these exclusive teams are just going to be at a different level.
Yeah, actually, the thing is that a lot of these teams have gotten a lot closer together. And also, After Cult from last time is basically the exclusive Argons team. God is the only original exclusive Argons, everyone else is from that After Cult roster. So I mean, like, these guys, a lot of these guys have leveled up and become the exclusive. Like, a lot of the 4th through 8 guys actually worked really, really hard grinding, and they became the top guys. And that's the thing, if you work hard, anyone in the audience today can be at that level. You just gotta put in the time.
That's true. Even maybe, guys, if you can grind hard, you could get there as well. Become pro
Don't know
player.
about that one, mate.
Probably not. Not at least from here. But I think that coming into the season finals, this is where those that have experience, especially the teams that have been together, I think, as Shu was saying, guys, if you have been able to keep your roster together, that's always going to be invaluable experience.
Well, obviously, because it retains that synergy, right? If you're able to build that up during the off-season and any stages leading into the finals, that's going to serve you very well. If you've had changes, obviously, you may come out the other side with arguably a stronger roster, but experience can mean so much, and especially in T3, which is, you know, unforgiving if you get off to a bad start on any particular map. It's very difficult to fight from behind and build momentum, etc. So it's going to be, you know, important storyline heading into this, and I guess we're really setting the stage of whether or not any team can take down exclusive.
I do have a question for you, though, Sherry. Of course, going into the maps in this particular match, where do you think, if WKE are going to find success, what particular mode is that going to be?
It would probably be in control, and the key is, can you kill Super Bean? The guy is the best healer that ever lived, and he's so hard to kill. And it's also hard to kill everyone on his team while he's alive, so you have to take him out. And if they can do that, then things might change.
I think we're seeing that probably a lot in the past, guys, as well, where those underdog teams, they like to probably try their hand at control, where it's a little bit more of that sort of, you know, skill play element versus the strategic element of the likes of Payload. If they're going to have any chance, they're probably going to get the win on control first. Yeah,
probably, and it is kind of, as Shuri is alluding to, making sure that you're targeting the right heroes at the right times and trying to find position and get value from your own composition. Sometimes teams that are the underdog do struggle to identify probably the win conditions to win particular fights and ultimately win out the match. So if they can come in with a clear game plan and actually execute upon it, they might have a chance in this one.
Yeah. We are going to go to a very short break before we do get into this first match. Don't go too far. When we do come back, it's Easy and WKE.
Keep on coming, work with me, talk with me for a little bit. Let's get into it. Work with me, hard times, low key, a minute down. Walk with me, talk with me. Walk with me, talk with me.
show, now it's on. It's time to turn it up, live it up, let's get real gone. Watch me like a marathon. You wanted a show, now it's on. I'm doing it wild like that. I'm doing it, doing it. I'm doing it, yeah. I'm doing it, doing it. I'm doing it wild like that. I'm doing it, doing it. I'm doing it, yeah. I'm doing it, doing it. I'm doing it wild like that. I'm doing it wild like that.
Welcome back to the Arena League here for T3. Thank you very much for sticking with us. Unfortunately, though, our first match, while not cancelled, has been postponed once we are just having some issues with getting some of the players in. So fret not, while that game has been pushed back to the queue. It does mean Beasters and not exclusive are going to be our first match of the day, and hopefully for our sake, because that is billed as match of the day, it ends up being so, guys.
Hopefully so. Two teams that should be relatively evenly matched heading into this best of three. So I mean, the expectation is that we're probably going to see all three maps / game modes played out in this particular series.
Yep.
And yeah, it should be a good one.
We'll get Shuri back in for his thoughts now heading into this game. Of course, Shuri, I just said earlier, not too long ago, that a lot of the times in these tournaments, any team that has the label exclusive in their title ends up finding a way to win pretty comfortably. But this might be the time where the team that's not labeled exclusive might actually have a really good chance.
Oh, definitely. You have a guy called Zetas on their team who is so good. Like, one of the most improved players probably, like, from the last one to now. And then you have Vitals, who's like the number 3 or 4 on the rank leaderboards with like 500 wins with no losses. Like, guy's absolutely insane. And then you have Federal. They actually got rid of their star, Nagi, and got like a better team. It's absolutely crazy. And I'm so excited to see how they put it together.
We'll get more into the matchup shortly. For now, we'll have a look at the bracket again to sort of reiterate where we are at for today. It's a bracket that, considering we've had no games played, has kind of a lot going on. Of course, Wally's ended up with a bit of a forfeit, so difference have moved on to what would be, I guess, the semi-finals. We're now getting into Beasters, not exclusive. That Easy Gaming and WKE guys, of course, postponed. Hopefully, we'll get to that at the end of the day. Beasters not exclusive, though. That's the big one.
Yeah, and that's the one obviously we're preparing ourselves for now. I mean, the discussion, I'm sure, will eventually turn to whether or not one of these two teams is actually a decent shot of making the best of 5 grand final. Unfortunately, we'll have to kind of wait and make that assessment a little bit later once we see Ease Gaming and WKE go at it to compare. But yeah, we'll see how this bracket does shape up. Obviously, it's a pretty unforgiving format in the sense that, especially probably for these two, they've got a pretty rough first match, the way in which the seeding has played out, and if you have just one off map or a one off day, you could be punished quite severely.
I think when you look at that bracket though, there was always going to be at least one matchup that was going to be quite a big one to begin with, because really you kind of look at all of the other matchups there, Shuri, and they're either a really good team versus maybe team that is not as likely to win. You've got your Dank Me Laters, your Wallies, etc. So it was just always going to be the way that it would sort of work out, that we were going to get at least one matchup that was going to be really good. It just happens to be these two.
Oh, definitely. These guys are amazing. You have Dumpy, who is the best Neon and pretty much all the healers in the game. She is one of the best girls in the game probably as well. So that's going to be nice. It's her first debut in comp. And then you have Kaizen, who's the best Scotty. You have so many good people on this not exclusive team, but Beasters is an actual team with people that are very skilled as well. So I think that teamwork might actually win out.
Yeah, where do you rank this match, Shuri, in terms of who comes in as the favorite, and not so much just simply who is the favorites, but by what margin as well?
Actually, I think this one's probably like a 60-40 in not exclusives favor, but that could change. It just depends on how well they work together on not exclusive, because while they have some of the best stars in the game, it doesn't make you a team.
Right, that's very much true. Well, let's go to the hero bands for this game, Beasters and not exclusive, and see who's being taken off the board here, guys. Of course, it's going to be most likely, I think, in a letter again. Yeah, it certainly is, and the Jabali as well to follow from Beasters. So probably no real surprises with either of these two bands.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the prominence of Jabali, in the last season, right? He was pretty much a must-pick on most occasions in that Vanguard role. I didn't think he was going to be quite as prominent heading into this particular season, so potentially a target ban, obviously. I'm sure Shu will have a better insight on that, but yeah, the Aletta will be a persistent pick, or ban in this instance, and yeah, not too surprised in that regard.
Sure, I'll get your thoughts here on those particular hero bands. The Jabali, the Aletta banned out. Really no surprises.
Yeah, on Aletta, you're always going to want to ban Aletta, and so if the other team does it, then you got to pick something. I don't know about Jabali, though, because Fade is really the main tank now. Jabali's still in there, but Fade is just such a big pick. I think it might be a target ban as well.
Yeah, that one was banned out by Beasters, going against not exclusive. You've seen the bans now, Shuri. I'll get your sort of predictions for this game. I know you said 60-40. Is this the kind of game that you might actually expect to go to all 3 maps?
Yeah, I mean, while I said it's 60-40 in non-exclusive's favor, I'm picking Beasters for this. I think they're the less likely team to win on paper, but I have a feeling that they're going to pull it out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
probably
speaks
game
volumes.
3.
Speaks volumes, guys, for this particular matchup, that it could go probably either way, as we always like to say, that go to the 3 maps. We don't really get to see 3 maps all that often here in T3 Arena League, so I'm kind of hoping this is going to be one, because the other 2 matchups we've got today most likely are not going to go to 3 maps. I guess 60-40, you've kind of looked at some of the names and some of the numbers, in a lot of these names as well, obviously quite familiar. Is there a team that kind of stands out to you that you'd say just might edge this one out?
I think for me it's always difficult, and it always has been, to look past that exclusive brand, right? They've obviously cultivated a bit of a, not a bit of a status, but the status of being the top bunch of players in this particular game and league. So for me, it's difficult to look past them. However, I do think their opponents in Beasters can put up a fight. Will it be enough for 3 maps? It's so difficult to tell, because often we do see stomps just based on how things play out, but it's certainly a possibility for sure.
Obviously, Shuri, there has been a couple of changes since the last time that we got to see T3 here for Season 2 and now into the season finals. Are you expecting any of those changes to be prominent in these kind of matches?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that mained Waling for the entire time of T3, and then they nerfed her to where she wasn't very good for like a month and a half, 2 months, and then she just came back. So I think there's a lot of players that are going to be using that just couldn't before, and they didn't adjust to other characters as much. But that character's so strong that there's some of those in this tournament that I think are going to benefit from that a lot. And also Victor being in the mix, he can stun tanks and stun healers and really change the game. And so it's not as campy as it used to be. Like basically the way the game plays is a lot different.
Obviously, the Jabali's been banned out, so that's one of the Vanguards gone. We probably expect it to be seeing a lot of fade. Are you expecting to see probably double Vanguard get selected here, or for these two teams to maybe go for a bit more of an aggressive-looking lineup?
Yeah, without a Letta, double Vanguard seems very possible. You might have a Victor, and even sometimes people choose Fort. He got a buff as well. He does a lot of damage, and I don't know if you guys have seen him because he was not very good in the other arena leagues. But he does pretty much damage from far away and has a nice shield, so that can be really good too.
Now we're just waiting on a couple more players before we do get into this particular game, as has probably been the case for what's now been, I guess, 20 or 30 minutes now. It's just sort of waiting and waiting before we can kind of get started. Guys, obviously we've kind of touched on a lot of the maps and obviously now the heroes as well. I mean, we've kind of put it all together and tried to make sense of it all. Beast isn't not exclusive. It's the match though. The winner of this, do you see them being able to make a run, being able to build momentum on an early best-of-3 win, going into this kind of bracket where you don't get many chances? That must be at least good mentally for the team to know how we can beat these top teams.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, right, both of these teams have incredible players and look very, very competitive, not just in the context of this particular matchup, but looking further abroad and the rest of the bracket. I think for the top half of the bracket where they sit, I think probably one of these two teams are the one that will make it through to the best-of-5 grand final. Obviously, unfortunately, the previous match was rescheduled, so again, kind of trying to set that benchmark is very difficult, and we'll probably get a read on that later on into the evening. But these two, with the names they have and the experience behind them, I would be pretty surprised if they don't have a run at that grand final and obviously taking the title.
I get your thoughts, Sherry, because of course the team who wins this game very likely to take on exclusive easy, and that particular matchup, whether it's Beasters or not exclusive, who would you favor in one of those potential matchups moving forward in the bracket from this side?
Well, third place still gets money, so after losing to exclusive easy, it's not that bad. You could still get third.
So you don't think it would be much of a contest? You think exclusive easy would be able to take down both of these two teams?
No, I do think it would be a contest, but they just have such good players on exclusive easy, and the good news is that those guys, they do play a lot together, but like some of the other teams basically are just practicing more because they realize that exclusive easies are really good, and they do lose in rank, so it's not that they're unbeatable, it's just that those are the guys that everybody's got their eyes on, so I'm always going to pick them, especially because I didn't pick him in the first Arena League and said I would never pick against him again.
Yeah, it's a good point that he does bring up, though. You win this, you can at least then get into the money, so if you do lose this, then you pretty much walk away with nothing. So we're heading into the game, though, so thank you, Shuri. We'll get your thoughts later on at the conclusion of this one. Elephant Estania to begin, first map, Control. We go for our first game, a best-of-3 for what is thankfully a match that's about to begin.
Yeah, well, so hopefully we'll be able to jump into this one, and the match is ready. So Elephant Estania is waiting. Control to kick things off, a map that has been prominent here in the Super League for quite some time, and one that these two will have a lot of experience on. Obviously, a lot of discussion heading into this one as to what the picks are going to likely be. Ruby expected to be a staple in the Vanguard position, so we're likely going to see that played out throughout. Obviously, there's been some changes heading into this particular season, and healers have had significant changes as well in the background, but the double Ruby pick, so pick from both teams to kick things off pretty much as expected, and I'm sure that's going to be, you know, a staple for these teams moving forward and something they'll both be looking to play around and get value from.
Yeah, I think already as well, just looking at a lot of the picks here, you can already see quite a bit of a difference from even really when we played the season Super Season 2 not that long ago. I can't recall actually how many months it has been. Either way, we get underway. Beasters and not exclusive here in the first match of the quarterfinals. It is dope that found the opening kill. Kaizen got a quick trade at the very least, so it makes it a 4 versus 4 there. And that objective now, of course, has been unlocked. It is available to be taken by the teams. Quani trying to get aggressive on it. Federal, of course, he's the main take. He's the one to keep an eye on moving forward for the side of Beasters, and he's doing his best job to just keep this from being taken. It's Sol, though, that falls. That's a good kill. That could just open up the point now. He falls, so does Quiney, and so just quietly, Beasters starting to get some semblance of control to the point where they've captured the point.
Yeah, a bit of a rough start for Sol on the Osis, unable to get value and taken down 2 times without having much of an impact inside of the server. So it is Beasters to get the first cap, and they'll slowly tick that counter up. The Ruby has been on respawn, though, so there may be some ground now taken by their opponents, and we'll just see if they can chip away, try and build up their ultimate economy, as that is going to be very prominent for this next fight.
Yeah, Sol does actually quickly come back, find a kill on the Ulcers, gets rid of C. That's a decent little handy kill to find. It means they can kind of overload the point 3-1 at the moment, but they cannot deal with Federal. He is just a tank stalwart, getting a lot of heals as well from that backline position. Rings falls to Sol. He finds another one, starting to really start to get to work. 2 quick kills for him in succession. Kaizen to follow up as well, and actually a decent job to clear the majority of this Beasters rosters to the point that they can now also flip said point 42%. It gets taken.
Yeah, the Victor as well, providing some good value here on the retake, so some good work there from Not Exclusive as we sort of take stock at how the teams are performing thus far. Kaizen doing some good work there, 4 and 2 on the Skadi to kick things off, so some good work there, and we'll see if that can continue to have value throughout this particular matchup. As we just reset. Point, though, still now being captured in response from Beasters. Some good ground found by Federal.
He's stolen it.
And he's gotten the pick, and the capture point has been robbed here by Beasters.
Won the 1v1 against Quani on point. Dumpy sold. They were kind of just off to the side. That allowed the point to get overwhelmed by Federal. Once he got that kill onto Quani, that was it. Point stolen. Now it starts to tick back up. Only 23% for Not Exclusive, and they've given it up really without much of a fight, without much of a hustle. It really was a solo play from Federal, expected from one of the top players, and now pressure onto Not Exclusive to try and get this back in time. Otherwise, this could be map 1 done just off a play like that. It's Jay trying to push forward, get the pressure onto Z, force him into the back line, gets the stun. He's going to get locked up, taking a lot of damage, but also getting a lot of heals on his location. Rings falls. Kaizen again involved on that Skadi, up to 80% though, and Federal continues to just be a stalwart on the site. Big heals coming out from Vitals, keeps Federal up, and Soldo gets the kill onto Dope. So they're getting kills, but they're not able to deal with Federal, and he's the main issue. He's the one keeping this point from being flipped back over to the side of Not Exclusive.
Yeah, you can see the amount of value he's been able to provide on the fade so far in this particular matchup, and just by staying alive, having an impact, getting kills as well.
Flipped it again.
And it's a 93% in favor now of Beasters.
It was just quietly taken by Not Exclusive. Federal was forced off it momentarily. Wasn't even killed. 99. Anyone on it? No. They could not even get a body on the point, even though Sol and Dumpy were close by, and the first round does indeed go the way of Beasters.
Now, I should make a correction. Obviously confusing Ruby for Skadi earlier on in this matchup, so that was a mistake on my part. And yeah, interesting to sort of see the Vanguards that have been played thus far. Clearly, Fade has provided a lot of value, especially to Federal. In that first point, he was able to, I guess, just sustain so much damage and pressure throughout that first round. Did a good job stealing the point as well late, and then being able to hold it well for his team. He's getting the support required, some good heals in the back line, and just overall playing that hero quite well up in the front line and having an impact. So I think going forward now, it's up to Not Exclusive to respond and try to do a better job in countering him.
Yeah, Federal tried to go for the mirror matchup. Sorry, it was Quiney that tried to go for the mirror matchup against Federal. Lost that pretty convincingly. Federal was also getting a lot of really good heals from Vitals, kept him alive, and I think that was probably the game plan. Keep Federal on point, keep the heals on him. He was able to really maintain good position and made it very difficult for Not Exclusive to flip it. Even though we were seeing actually Sol get a lot of kills earlier too on the Ulcers, but yeah, either way, it didn't matter. Kaizen does get the opening kill on Dope. Kaizen's also been fragging out so far. Sol quickly falls though to Rings. That's a quick kill and brings it back to a 4v4. But once again, Federal on point. That is the man that is being very difficult to dislodge.
Yeah, and we'll see if this time he's able to stay alive, just playing around the point while dancing, avoiding as much damage as he possibly can, while still finding some damage for himself. Dope able to find a pick as well, but the capture point will go once again in favor of the side of Beasters, as that timer will continue to tick down.
Yeah, Federal was just forced off it momentarily, and that was good pressure onto him, something that Not Exclusive kind of lacked in that first round. They've got control here at 15%. Federal trying to get back control here and capture, and this was something he was able to do actually very often in that opening round, and has been able to do so once again. Not Exclusive have given up the point. They are not going to like this. It's happened a couple of times over in that first round. Now once again early in this second round, they can get it for 15 to 20% at a time, but then Beasters Federal, they keep finding a way to be able to steal it back without really much fanfare at all. Not Exclusive, the one thing they've lacked is really that hard presence on the site, and that's allowing Beasters to just flip it back pretty comfortably. Soul tries to get some nice kills in towards the back line, does get the kill onto Dope, not too bad, but again, it's Federal's the one that you want, and Soul eventually does get traded anyway.
Also a good stun here from the Fade of Federal, doing some good work to isolate picks and just continues to have a presence and pressure in towards the site, but he needs some more support from the rest of his team. Left on a little bit of an island, where you see Rinks here trying to get an advanced position. 7 kills for him so far on the Osa, so doing a good job in isolating some kills.
Soul and Quani have swapped, so Quani goes on to the Ruby, and Soul will actually now go onto the Fade and try and deal with Federal, because Federal's just clearly being the absolute monster on site. They cannot deal with him. He has not died yet in this particular round. Rinks also at 7-1 has been fragging on the Osses, up to 60% now for Beasters. Of course, 1-0 up already here on Alpha Estania. They win this, they'll take the map, and they look very much in control.
And you can see there Federal taken so low, but unfortunately not able to be finished off, and that's just the value he's been able to provide. And unfortunately the backline as well has been able to sustain him. Z good for 1, traded back, but Rinks back in on the action, up to 10 kills in this particular round.
80% now. Federal's just got the ultimate online. Same with Dope too. So Beasters have got good ult economy. They've got good position. Not Exclusive going to have to come back for one last push, but they have ultimately just struggled to deal with that Fade. Rinks gets the kill onto Quani, who has just struggled in this game, although to be fair, so has the majority of their team anyway. Dumpy about to fall on the healer in the backline. Not ideal. Dope able to just stay alive, 99% into overtime. The objective being contested. Okay, Kaizen gets the kill onto Rinks, makes it a 5 versus 4. Jay though with the kill onto Dope as well. 5-on-3, numbers with Not Exclusive momentarily, but just again unable to deal with Federal.
Yeah, we'll see Quani as well now trying to hold on to the point. Federal will continue to be a threat. Kaizen trying to take him down and get him low, looking to do as much damage as possible, but it won't be enough, and he's off the board.
And that should probably be the game from here. That overtime bar is going to rapidly shrink once Quani is pushed off or eliminated. Dope with the kill onto Jay. That overtime bar is just going to absolutely go down so quick. 100% to 20% and a 2-0 for Beasters. Absolutely brutal stomping on Alpha Estania. Ferrer was an absolute beast. He was a difference maker, and a big part of that as well was Vitals too, healing and making sure that Vetera was just not going to be easily pushed off.
Yeah, a lot of value there from the Fade, not only absorbing damage, but delivering counter punches, some nice charges and stuns as well into the mix as well. And we kind of went into this game with the expectation that Beasters needed to do well on control to get a lead, apply some pressure in this series. They've done exactly that, and in a very confident fashion as well. 2 rounds, the second round bit was well being 100% to only 20.
Yeah, Shuri, we'll get your thoughts. We'll bring you back in here for what was a pretty quick Alpha Estania. 100% to 20, especially in that second round. But for me, Federal, he was just impossible to push off the point.
Oh, 100%. I actually was playing with him 2 hours ago, and I asked him, how do you guys feel? And he said, we feel really good, and we're definitely taking second or third, which normally you want to see first, but and I was like, okay, I like the confidence, but you got a really hard one coming up first. Well, you know what? Kind of makes sense why he sounded super confident and not stressed. He was very relaxed, just saying no, second or third, we're definitely going to be able to get there. And I was like, okay, because the biggest thing is, in order to get second, that means you have to be exclusive easy in the next round. And so, guys seemed confident. Now I know why. And Rinks went 12-2. The guy couldn't miss on Osis. That was crazy.
heading into what will be Payload next, I can't help but already envision the difficulty in dealing with Federal on control will be something that can be actually applied over to Payload, and pushing him off of said Payload is something that if non-exclusive can't figure out how to find a way to do that, I can't help but feel like Beasters might be able to take this series a little bit more comfortably than we imagined.
Oh, and it gets even worse for the other team. I didn't actually know Rinks was on this team. Rinks is one of the best players in the world, and he's one of the best Osises and Aletas, and you can't let him play either, but you can only ban one person. So that's a really hard choice that you got to make as a team. You don't want to play him on either of those characters. As you saw his Osis, he's even better on Aleta. So it's going to be rough.
Yeah, it certainly was rough, guys. In the end, that first map was indeed quite one-sided, and I think even at some points that we were able to see non-exclusive steal the point, at no point were they really in control for that long.
I mean, we saw some good moments from Kaizen, and a couple of replay clips there where he's doing a good job applying damage, isolating a couple of picks here and there, but it just didn't translate to being able to take down the Vanguard, to be able to chip away at the objective, to be able to find ground and control and apply meaningful pressure. It felt like when he was able to, find a couple of picks, the rest of the team wasn't then able to sort of capitalize upon that, and they were never able to sort of line everyone up in such a way that Federal was then left in an awkward position. There was maybe like one instance throughout both rounds where he was critically low and was still then able to survive, and if you can't clear the Vanguard on the objective, you're going to find life very, very difficult, as you kind of alluded to. That's not exclusive to control. Escort and even attack escort, if we make it there, are both going to be similar in that regard in being able to flush out players on the objective.
We've seen the first mode, Shuri, 1-0 to Beasters. Do you imagine that they can close it out 2-0 and take escort?
This not exclusive team actually has really good players on it, and you could kind of tell they would stagger and they just weren't working together enough. You don't need to have as much teamwork on Payload. It's just a lot easier. If you have people slaying out and one guy on the cart, it kind of works. So I think they actually have a more even chance on the Payload, and the biggest thing they're going to have trouble with is you got to get Federal down, and he's so good with his movement and that fade bubble that also the Neon can go through walls to teleport to him. So he just has to live long enough for the Neon to get to him. Whoa. And it's up like every 8 or 10 seconds. So it's really hard to kill that man. You got to figure that out.
Well, I wonder if maybe there might be a target ban coming out here in the next hero ban. Let's get that out and see whether or not they do maybe target the fade for Federal. Not to be, doesn't come through. I'm a little bit surprised by that. It's the Hunter and it's the Osis. The Osis is actually banned out by Beasters themselves. I'm going to go straight to Shura on this one because I'm a little bit surprised. You yourself said that for Rinks, it's either the Osis or the Aleta. Well, they've banned out the Osis themselves.
Yeah, well, there are some really good players. Saul is considered the best Osis in the game, so that's why they did that, most likely. And the Hunter ban is 100% they want to play Johnny Jet, and Hunter counters it. So they picked Hunter, so now they can play Johnny Jet and sit invisible on the card.
Oh, you've seen the ban, Scuzz. Are you a bit surprised? Well, I'd probably anticipated a bit of a target on the Federal. The fade stays up. I mean, they were playing it themselves, but I think that Federal kind of showed that he was able to play it a little bit better than everyone from the side of exclusive. Yeah,
I mean, it would be a good test to see whether or not there's going to be some change-ups and see that Johnny Jet in play as well, and if that's going to shake things up. Obviously, the dynamic a little bit different here on Payload, but I think we're going to have to see some of those issues from the first game resolved.
Very quickly, Sherry, I want your predictions here as we head to Broward's Dog Payload for our second map. Who takes it out?
Well, after what we just saw, I think Beasters is definitely going for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree with that after what we saw from the first map. So we'll head into this particular game, Beasters and not exclusive, into our second map of this best of 3. And an opportunity for not exclusive to maybe just try and bring one back here on Broward's Dock. For Beasters, they get the chance now to close this game out and make it a 2-0, which is probably not a scoreline we anticipated. I had envisioned this would go to all 3 maps. It still can. Not exclusive. Can they find a way to deal with Federal? That's definitely the question.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to be an entertaining game, and we'll see what the picks will be, at least initially on the first ball, on the first push. Interestingly, Federal will actually rotate off the fade onto the Jabali, and there were some discussions had between us on the desk heading into the day as to whether or not we'd probably even see Jabali, never mind what his impact could be inside of the server. So that's going to be interesting to track on the side of the defense of Not Exclusive. They themselves will bring the fade and probably looking to replicate some of the success that Federal had over on Control.
Yep, certainly. We'll see what's going to happen here. So it is going to be Not Exclusive defending first. Beasters are attacking here on Brower's dock, as you said. Federal on that Jabali. We'll see if it does pay dividends. Kaizen already in a 1v2 loses that one to Dope. Finds a double. We'll talk about an early start here, and they can get easy control of that payload, get it moving. Soul gets a little bit caught close by, just outside of the spawn. Federal on that Jabali can just sit there, put up the shield. Kwani tries to get involved on the fade from the side, but is really just by themselves. Throws the bubble, tries to walk back over towards Dumpy, who can provide some heals and get Kwani back up to full health, who can just try and deal with Federal. We know that that fade can deal with Jabali's pretty well, but definitely not by themselves.
Yeah, so Federal there being able to obviously push that payload forward as the respawns come through. Federal himself able to find a kill, and Dope as well, keeping the momentum up. That's already 4 kills to kick off this round. Eventually traded out by Kaizen, who we know had some good moments over on Control, but now it's up to the rest of the team to provide value. That's a really good pick there from Z, isolating Soul, and once again Beasters will get control of the payload.
Yeah, with a bit of help from Rinks as well. They were able to get the kill onto Kaizen. Kaizen's found 3 kills early on, the only 3 kills from the side of Not Exclusive. Otherwise, Beasters are, well, living up to the name and just beasting this map already towards that checkpoint very quickly. So time, not an issue for them. Kwani again just sniped out by Dope. Kwani has just struggled to have any kind of influence on this game across both maps early on. Soul in the back line on the Aletta trying to get involved and find a kill. Hasn't found one yet and will not, as he has been shut down by Rinks. Up to 3-1 now for Rinks on the Aletta. Once again, has been so influential. As Shuri said, Guz, he has been a big standout. 4-1 now. Kwani, though, finally gets a big kill onto Federal and just might keep the payload from being captured. No, does get through, and that is the checkpoint secured. So that's a big, big win there for Beasters.
And a bit of a head-to-head now with the Jabalis both looking to build up their ultimates. Federal already on 85%, Jay only on 70%. So if Federal can get that first and jump on payload, pop it, and maybe help this push, that could be a big difference maker in this next fight. But elsewhere, Rinks continues to do so much damage on this Aletta. 72%, that's the Jabali dealt with. Now Federal will have his ready and available on the scatter.
The stagger issues are just coming back, unfortunately, for Not Exclusive, where they're just pushing him by themselves. Jay comes in on the Jabali, and yeah, you're a tank, yeah, you've got that shield, but if you're just by yourself, you're going to get overwhelmed, and we saw that there for Rinks and Co. Up to 6-1 for Rinks, goes maybe a bit too aggressive. He's able to teleport back out, and then comes back in, trying to play up on top of this catwalk position. 3 minutes and 20 remaining. We're getting towards the finale, which, as we know in T3, if you can typically get it to the end, you can usually win the game just off of that alone. Another kill for Rinks, up to 7-1. Trying to continue to put work onto Jay to get that kill onto the Jabali. Just staying alive. Dumpy trying to do as much healing as possible to keep that Vanguard up. Kwani eventually lost their life to Finals, of all people. 2 kills for the support, and Rinks finally from behind gets the kill on the Jabali. This might just open up the point now to be secured.
And as you can see, watching Rinks' point of view, he's just not under a whole lot of pressure, being allowed to build this streak now up to 9 kills. A good ultimate in the mix as well a little bit earlier, but he's just being able to apply so much damage, deal with this utility. The shield's not offering much either, so Jay trying to protect the team, the bubble as well from the fade, but not really providing much in terms of value either. And as you can see, Not Exclusive just trying to continue this stagger on the point, but it can only be sustained for so long.
Yeah, just trying to throw bodies at this point to delay, to play into the time game and see if that can help them later on. Jay eventually goes down again, 0 and 6. Jay has tried to help Kwani. They've gone for a double Vanguard. The Johnny Jet actually comes out way too late from Soul, and that is a massive win again for Beasters. Just incredibly dominant, and Not Exclusive have just not really been able to go with them.
Yeah, I think questions will be asked as to why the Johnny Jet perhaps was not brought out a little bit earlier. Unfortunately, Soul having some teething issues in that particular round and really couldn't find himself in good stead. Obviously, Rinks, though, another standout performance, so clearly not too dismayed. An interesting little round, but the side of the attack just proving to be too strong.
Way too strong, and now they get to go into the defense. And got to say, for a matchup that we anticipated was going to be quite close, it so far hasn't panned out that way. Still, opportunity can present itself, though, for Not Exclusive, but they need to go fast. 3 minutes 46, that's the time to beat.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely achievable. I think they were going to have to probably see them employ some similar tactics from what we saw in their opposition on their attack, and that's going to be trying to find some early picks that isolate some ones. We saw, for instance, Dope out of the gates able to find a 2k and really help that first push, which can sometimes be the most difficult on a payload escort. So we'll see if that can be the case, but unfortunately, from what we have seen, isolating those picks, putting players on an island has proved to be very difficult for not exclusive.
Yeah, and the issue as well, Rinks has just been able to do as he likes, has been completely free. The problem is if you put too much focus into Rinks, then you're not really putting your focus towards the payload itself. The Dope and the opening kill onto Kaizen. It's been also not just the Rinks show. Dope has been incredible. Z too. So all three of the sort of attacking players have been very dominant from the side of Beast, as even Federal has been able to get involved and find a couple of kills. Soul gets one at least onto Z, just relieves some of the pressure momentarily, but already you can just see how they are trapped inside a spawn.
Soul with an ult will look to get some value and help push the team forward, and has been able to do so. Federal take low, some good work there from the fade. Rinks though still up but about, and you can see the amount of damage that he's being able to do in the back lines as well. Yet to find a kill in this particular round, but expect him to fire up eventually. But an interesting tactic here from Beast is they're just going to fall back, recollect themselves, and not looking to stagger as much as perhaps their opposition did.
Soul is deep. If Soul dies here, it'll be a 5-4 towards the payload on the way back towards contesting it, and does go down. Soul gets very aggressive, over-aggressive. Now gives the numbers advantage for the side of Beast. Is in the backline. Z trying to deal with Kaizen, and pretty much almost has. Kaizen just barely stays alive, able to get some heals from Dumpy. Z then got caught from Soul coming in on the respawn from that spawn side, so they've just got the numbers momentarily. Got the kill onto Dope as well, but Federal, the tank, able to deal with even a double Vanguard setup on the payload. Federal has been so important. Rinks then got the kill onto Dumpy. No heals now for the time of not exclusive over the next 5 to 10 seconds, and they have been able to stop that payload and send them back to spawn.
And Rinks is really fired up, 2 kills so far. Now has the ultimate available as well if he so chooses to use it, but he is eventually taken down. So Soul there getting the better of his predecessor on the Aletta. Almost taken low himself, well actually was taken low but able to survive. But this is some pretty good work there from the defense, being able to contest the point at this choke under the bridge. Federal on the objective on that payload, getting good value from the shield, looking to protect the rest of the team. Kaizen taken down does mean that this attack will likely be stalled.
Rinks already getting some work in. Vitals comes back just in time. Dumpy eliminated again. No heals now for non-exclusive, and Quaney's probably going to fall on that fade. Rinks just too much pressure coming out from him on the Aletta, and ultimate still available has just been used. Federal with the kill onto Jane. That will once again just stall things out temporarily. They get rid of Soul. And the stagger not working again for not exclusive. Minute to just get to the first checkpoint. They are already running out of time. This is very much looking like Beasters will take the series 2-0 from here, barring a massive collapse, barring something magnificent from not exclusive. Beasters are in a very comedic position.
Yeah, and even with this double Vanguard lineup, not exclusive, finding it difficult to stay alive on the point and apply pressure, perhaps a lack of damage on the board, and they're finding it tricky to isolate picks. That said, Federal off the board. Unfortunately, Kaizen will fall, but with that Vanguard dealt with, perhaps they can make a push. Jay as well able to get a pick.
Yeah, 35 seconds though, and Federal's going to be back pretty soon, so they've got to make sure they can make hay while the sun shines. Dumpy again has been dumped out of the server. Dope with a kill there, up to 5 and 3, having a very good round along with Rinks, who's up to 6 and 1, has been clearly the MVP of this series. Jay will fall, that's the Jabali gone. Federal's already back, and with 17 seconds left, and of course the timer itself already up to 3:15. Beasters will take this series. It's just a matter of by how much. 10 seconds left. This game is over. We'll just see whether or not non-exclusive can have one more fight. No, they give up. They sit in spawn. They understand they can't win. They don't even try to go for that checkpoint. It's 2-0 to Beasters in this series for what was supposed to be the game of the day. Ended up being a whitewash, guys. That was a stomping from Beasters. Far too good for non-exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, they just dealt with the tools that were, you know, thrown at them from their opposition. We saw some good picks from across the board, and they just did a better job at, you know, isolating those ones and shutting down key players. You know, the Aletta for the most part was dealt with, and then the double Vanguard didn't probably have as much teeth in it as not exclusive were probably expecting in that particular mode.
We'll get Shuri in, of course, our expert, and well, Rinks ended up just running havoc. A player we weren't anticipating was going to be in this matchup, had the biggest impact probably alongside Federal. So when you had the best Vanguard and you had the best DPS, it's no wonder they were able to win so convincingly.
Oh yeah, and Vitals is a new addition to this team as well. And without those heals, I mean, like Federal wouldn't be able to
Yep.
do what he's doing, and without both of them, Rinks couldn't do what he's doing. So I mean, it works perfectly. And Zeta is actually really good, especially on that Judex. It's just Rinks is gonna steal all your kills, but it's perfect because it's teamwork. I mean, like you
Yep.
get him low, Rinks is gonna instantly switch to them and kill them. The communication's on point. Everything's perfect. I'm just mad at Federal for lying to me. He said second or third. They're getting first, man.
Long way to go. It is still only the quarterfinals, but a big win for them. I gotta say though, what about the side of non-exclusive? Were you somewhat surprised with how easily they were beaten?
100%, because Dumpy, like against the best in the world, can heal through anything. Like they had good tanks. Saul is really good, as you saw. He like outplayed Rinks there and like was on a 4 or 5 streak. Like it's just, and then Kaizen's also one of my favorite players and the best Scotty there is, and he's also very good at things like Mark and other characters. So the team had, like I said, it was a bunch of really top players, but that doesn't mean you have teamwork. So when you go in there and you have like the most skill, it doesn't mean that you're gonna be able to beat a real comp team that's been around for like almost a year. It seems like.
It's a really good point, guys, and I think what highlighted it the most for me in that last game, as soon as we saw early on in that attacking push from non-exclusive that Federal actually got killed early on, Beasters didn't overcommit with before. They actually just sat back and waited. We're like, okay, we lost our Vanguard, we'll wait for him to come back. When he comes back, and obviously they actually then ended up punishing Sol, who was too aggressive, got in there. So they were in the 4v5, they were the 4, and they flipped it to a 5v4 because of patience, because of teamwork, and then from there they were able to get the payload back and then force it back.
I mean, that's always the risk, right? When you decide to play the single Vanguard lineup, if you lose that front line, you then have to, if you want to play in the most efficient way possible, regroup and hold back and be patient and not over commit because you don't have that fallback option. And while that does sometimes hurt you in the short term of a round, you know, in isolation, obviously, overall, they were then able to make up for that with the damage output that they had available when that Jabali got back into the fight.
Well, what was supposed to be game of the day ended up being a beatdown, but hey, credit to Beasters, they were far too good. Rinks, Superstar on the DPS, Vitals on the heals, and Federal on the Vanguard. You got all 3 roles basically covered, and all 3 of them were able to win their roles rather convincingly. Unfortunate for not exclusive, that is their time done here for Super Season 2 in the season finals, but moving on will be the Beasters, and we will move forward. Short break on the other side though, more games to be played.
Burgundy's on the oaks, Greasy Ave every Sunday morning, Maplewood in the smoke, like a spirit we feel it, it's taking us under, any fire will stoke, find the answers that had their meaning, windy woods like the roads, if we dream it, believe it, we'll fall into wonder. Walk with me, talk with me for a little bit. Let's get into it. Walk with me, high times, low key, a minute down. Lay back afternoon chills. Eastside dads getting lost in stories. Some big watches and stills. It's for freedom, a kingdom, so weightless and tandem. Chase the eye at our own pace. Cast the cat, it will be okay. Give and take, never hesitate. One by one, we keep on coming. Walk with me, talk with me for a little bit. Let's get into it. Walk with me, high times, low key, a minute down. Walk with me, talk with me. Walk with me, talk with me. Walk with me, talk with me.
show, now it's on. It's time to turn it up, live it up, let's get real gone. Watch me like a marathon. You wanted a show, now it's on. I'm doing it wild like that. I'm doing it, I'm doing it, yeah. I'm doing it, I'm doing it wild like that. I'm doing it, I'm doing it, yeah. I'm doing it, I'm doing it wild like that. I'm doing it wild like that.
So Beasters are through here for the finals, and for not exclusive, well, unfortunately they've been dumped out of the tournament. And moving on, we go to what will be technically game 3 for the day. Of course, our first match postponed to then what will be our last game of the day, guys. So we're moving on forward. It is going to be exclusive Argons taking on DM, which I think, if I remember correctly, is the Dank Masters or Dank?
Dank Me Later.
Dank Me Later? Yeah, my goodness, what a name. I mean, that's honestly one of the better names I've ever heard. So, Dank Me Later taking on exclusive Argons. That's sure to be a very difficult ask, I imagine, for the Dank.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the previous match we kind of slated as probably being, you know, on paper at least, the closest of the evening, and that ended up being a 2-0 this next matchup. Arguably the most one-sided, so I am, fearful for Dank Me Later in this one.
We'll get Shuri back in, of course, our resident expert. Shuri, exclusive Argons versus Dank Me Later. I mean, it's in the names themselves. This is a matchup that is got that feel of David versus Goliath.
It does, but I think Dank Me Later, this team was actually in the last Arena League finals, so it's not a team with no experience. They've kind of been here before. I think they had personal stuff and didn't actually get to play, but they did make it. So that does show that they can be here and should be here. They all have tournament banners, which means they've won before. So it's not as one-sided as it might seem, but yeah, exclusive Argons and exclusive Easier, just they both got first and second last time. I think they were first and second in the other Arena League. They're just really good teams. But this is a different Argons. 4 of the teams are from, or 4 of the teammates are from Aftercult, so that does change things. But all 4 of them got so good they joined exclusives. So like, it's hard.
Yeah, we'll go to the bracket just to sort of reiterate where we are at through the day so far. Of course, one of the matches being, unfortunately, that forfeit for Team Difference versus the Wallies. So the Wallies already through, and of course, so are now the Beasters. They make their way through to the semi-final. They'll play off tomorrow. So not exclusive, as I said before, out Easy Gaming versus WKE, postponed to be after this game of Argons and Dank Me Later, which I guess hopefully, as to what Shuri was sort of specifying, Guz, this might not be as one-sided as we originally thought, but he also felt like the last game was 60-40 and it played out like 90-10.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think it's fair to expect exclusive Argons to be very, very challenging to take down in this particular bracket. Dank Me Later, whilst having, you know, some history, haven't probably proven themselves to the same extent and don't have the same pedigree. So they go into this game as underdogs, and for exclusive Argons, I guess it's very much about, you know, setting their sights on making the grand final, of course, but not getting too far ahead of themselves, because that is probably the biggest trap that they could fall into.
When you kind of look at this bracket, Shuri, and you kind of now see, obviously, Beasters on the top side, Argons on the bottom side, is that a maybe in your eyes, potential towards the grand final? I know obviously there's easy. We can't obviously discount them at all, and I'm actually very much looking forward to that. But for Argons, the path for them, you look at that lower side team difference, no disrespect, but for Argons, they've got themselves a good path to that grand final.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they do. Anyone that is on the side that Easy's not on is happy to be there. And it really is just a lot of really good players on that Easy team. And, I mean, there's just so many good players. The exclusive top 2 teams being the only ones who are good, that stopped last season. So, like, these top 4 to 6 teams are really good now. So, these guys actually might have a chance.
We'll see whether or not that will play out as we hope as we head to the hero bands for this game of Thank Me Later versus exclusive Argons. We'll see what bands do come through. So far there's been heavy emphasis on the likes of Alessa. That will continue once again. The Gloria to follow as well, which we saw in action in the last series actually quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Gloria with that assault rifle offers good value, especially those that are mechanically gifted. You know, headshots doing quite a lot of damage, and she's obviously quite good in the current meta. So that's intriguing. It does leave, you know, the primary vanguards available. We've seen quite a bit of, you know, we saw a bit of Jabali play. Ruby as well continues to be a threat. Fade as well. All of those are going to be available in this matchup. Osis as well, he was banned out previously and is probably going to be picked as well. We'll make it through. Obviously, with a letter taken down, we might see, you know, another flank hero come through.
Sure, you've seen the bands. We're heading to Alpha Estania. What is your prediction?
My prediction is going to be exclusive. Watch for Dell. He had a little bit of rough one last time. He's gotten so much better, and I think he has something to prove. So definitely watch him to go off.
If Dell's gotten better, then yeah, very much watch out, because I feel like Dell has been a bit of a staple for some time. Obviously, for Thank Me Later, Shuri, if they are to find success, surely it's got to be on Control.
Oh, definitely. You can try to catch this team off guard. The one problem is this team does have a lot of teamwork because the 4 of them were teamed for a long time, and T3 God's one of the best players to ever exist.
Yep. Well, I think Shuri pretty much says that perfectly, guys. This is going to be obviously quite difficult for Thank Me Later. While we don't discount them altogether, they certainly go into this as the underdog, and we can finally head into this for our second series of the day. Exclusive Argons taking on Thank Me Later. Certainly one of the better names that we've had before. Over to Elephant Estania we go for Control for our first map of this series.
Yeah, well, I mean, if the win condition here for Thank Me Later is to catch their opponents off guard, it's probably going to have to come through in terms of the composition that they're going to bring to the table, and see if they can maybe change something up a little bit to give themselves the advantage that they'll be looking for. So we'll track that throughout. It looks like the Ruby is going to be the primary vanguard for both teams heading into this particular matchup. Interestingly as well, the Labula will come through from Craze, so we'll see what kind of healing impact he'll be able to have in the backline. Healing has, you know, obviously been incredibly important, and we've seen that throughout the day in keeping that vanguard alive on the front line, and it's incredibly important on Control. You're right, you want to be able to lock down that point, create space for your team, and then hope that, you know, your primary damage dealers and flankers can get in that back line and do some real damage.
No Fade, no Jabali, no worries though. Thomas with a double kill start onto Rising Slasher, and the perfect start for exclusive Argons as they find a third one quickly on to Reaper. All 3 of the opening kills go the way of Argons. They get the point straight away, and that just might be the most telling start to a series that we've seen here in T3, because that was a very swift start for exclusive Argons, and immediately point control and already map control.
Yeah, 3 picks as well for the victor in the hands of Thomas, so that is quite a damning storyline and start for Thank Me Later. Now they'll be fighting from behind to try and get control, and as you can see, quite an advanced position from exclusive Argons, but they'll now fall back. They're right into the flank, the right hand side, and we'll see how much damage they'll be able to land.
30% already for exclusive Argons. Thomas tries to make his way towards the front line. Did lose his life to Slasher, but so did Risey as well. So that's at least 1 for 1. Craze does fall. So the Labula gone momentarily for exclusive Argons. Good signs here, at least from Thank Me Later. They've been able to find a couple of kills. They did lose Mon and Mochi though pretty quickly. Slasher with another kill as a T3 God. So he falls too. So while these trades do go out 1 for 1, Thomas comes back, gets the kill onto Slasher. More importantly, Argons have had the point the whole time, up to 52%. So really, Thank Me Later don't get a whole lot from those initial kills.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they were able to drop the heals and the potential of that from Labula, but then actually being able to capitalize upon that proved to be quite a challenge. So Thank Me Later, the trade game, it's just lacking a fraction in this game so far, and unfortunately they don't have a whole lot of time to correct it. That time is dwindling, and the counter itself now up into the 70s.
Polos gets his second kill of the game. Risey was to fall there on the Victor, and 3 for 2 as well for Polos. Thomas then doubles up, 80% point control fully in the side of exclusive Argons, and they are shaping up for a 100-0 against Take Me Later to start here on Alpha Distania.
So pretty much one push left now for Thank Me Later. We'll need to see, you know, a pretty miraculous effort from them from this point forward. Now 5% remaining for exclusive Argons to close it out.
Got to throw their bodies on the point, make sure they get that into overtime. They do that successfully. Thomas, though, from the side, getting some really good shots in on that Victor up to 5-1. No real response, though, from Risey. He's 0-3 and has struggled to have influence on this game. Mochi to fall. Just so much damage coming out now from exclusive Argons. Monmon as well. Double kill from Polos. Risey also gone. T3 God gets involved. Reaper to fall, and same with Slash at the same time. That's going to be the point done, and that is a 100-0 in favor of exclusive Argons. They very much are the Goliath in this matchup, and they start with a resounding victory here to begin on Alpha Distania, 1-0 up already.
And only a total of 4 kills there for Thank Me Later in the first round are pretty telling, and unfortunately for them, damning statistic in this particular matchup. They're struggling to deal with the damage dealers on the side of exclusive Argons, who are then doing a great job in protecting the Vanguards up front, not really leaving them all too vulnerable. The other thing as well is after winning that first fight, they were then able to fight for some good ground and territory, but then were also willing to respect their opponents and forfeit some map control to then fight for it in a more favourable position. So overall, well played from them, and for Thank Me Later, they'll now be playing catch-up.
Yeah, so already 1-0 behind. Not the start they were hoping for. Control, especially here on Alpha Distania, kind of mode that they would have hoped they could maybe catch it. Exclusive Argons off guard. Not to be. Doesn't come through. Straight away we get into the second round already. Exclusive Argons well prepped, well primed, in position for as soon as that objective does unlock. 2 more seconds for that, but they are the ones that have already got control of it technically before it's even unlocked. Early kill goes to Polos, no surprise on that. Gets rid of Slasher. Able to deal with him really comfortably as they look to capture the point now. It was a little bit of a start from Thank Me Later. They're able to kind of just get it slowly ticking over in terms of the capture, but that is now well and truly happening at the hands of exclusive Argon. Trying to deal with this backline play up. It's Monmon that actually gets the call on the Polos, who was getting very aggressive.
Yeah, some good work there. Polos was actually doing quite a bit of damage and being quite disruptive. Thomas, though, in response, as we see Craze fall, so the heals now will be lacking for exclusive Argons, and unfortunately for them, it does look like Thank Me Later are putting up a really good fight here in the second round.
Yeah, they get themselves the points, and for the first time in this particular map, they're on the board in terms of percentage point control in their favor, and exclusive Argons just momentarily a little bit lackluster to begin here in the second round. Certainly not as dominant as they were to begin here on Alpha Distania. They just kind of struggled to find the kills. Monmon went absolutely crazy as well on the Ruby. It's Slasher with a kill onto T3 God. Again, just further staggers exclusive Archon. So a really good start to the second round from Thank Me Later.
Now see Thomas drop in, and we'll see how much damage he's able to exploit in that front line. Probably looking at Dal as well to get in on the action. Unfortunately, though, Craze has fallen once more, so the Labula is struggling to provide heals to the rest of the team, and that could prove quite detrimental here for exclusive Argons.
Certainly going with a bit more of an experimental lineup at the moment, the Argons, and it's not quite working out. Thomas the Fall, again, has not really been able to have the same kind of impact as they did in that opening round, up to 45%. This is a staggering start from Thank Me Later. Certainly a massive turnaround from what was a 100-0 in the opening round at the hands of exclusive Argons, who once again look to regroup as a core 5, not staggering in one at a time. They'll all make their way in together, but they're just not getting these initial picks on the contact fight. Slasher taken low, no heals initially, will start to come back up. Now full health. It's Mochi though that's got to be careful. Paulus finally comes in, makes a bit of a statement. Big kill just to open things up. Thomas though again just struggling to have impact and couldn't utilize that ultimate. T3 God though, big kill onto Monmon, and Risey finally falls, and maybe a chance for Archons here as they've gotten a clean sweep. All 5 will go down, they'll get the point.
Yeah, and a big play from Dull there, just being able to stay alive and getting a couple of kills towards the death there, and that will leave Thank Me Later somewhat staggered for this next push, but they've built up a nice buffer. They got up to 76%, so arguably they're one fight away from being able to win the round, but Slasher, just as I speak up Dull, unfortunately, he'll be taken down, and Dank Me Later now with the advantage for this next fight.
Yeah, Slash has been very good so far in this second round, 5-2. Very low, God, maybe over-aggressive, and T3 God will get the punishment there as well. At that point, though, being flipped by Dank Me Later. Can they get full control? Yes, they can. They flip it back into their favor, 77%. They do get the kill onto Moichi, though, and of course, Risey also falls at the same time, so I think this won't last too long, but it did at least stall out the percentage for exclusive Archons just momentarily. They got themselves an extra 6-7%, not too bad for Dank Me Later. More importantly, that just denied exclusive Archons a bit of extra time on the point as well.
And again, should pretty much mean if Dank Me Later are able to win this next fight, this next team fight, they'll pretty much be a shoo-in to be able to take the round. Ult's available though here for X-Argons. Craze will use his first, and we'll see how much of an impact that can have in the fight.
Slash is certainly one to watch. He's been able to find a couple of opening kills in the process in the last couple of pushes. Again, though, they're just trying to take the fight towards the point. T3 God loses out to Risey. Slash is getting pressured as we get the overview towards the point. Who's really on there? Polus is definitely trying to just hold on. Craze in the thick of the action as well. Down to fall on the Ruby. Not ideal, but so did Monvon, so at least a 1-for-1 trade in terms of those heroes. Up to 67% now for the Archons as it just becomes an absolute cluster on the point.
Yeah, Rise doing a really good job here of being able to stay alive. Unfortunately, Mochi will fall and Rise as well. So X-Argons are going to continue to fight their way onto the point. For Dank Me Later, they're just falling one by one with the Ruby down. You would suspect that this is going to be a reset, and we'll see if they have enough time and enough manpower to get back onto this objective, as X-Argons claim it at now 90%.
They've certainly got enough time to be able to get back in as a core 5 and not just stagger this and rush it and throw bodies on the line. And what a start there from Moichi to get the kill. That was his first one of the map as well onto T3 God. Good player to get rid of. Craze in the backline on the Labio, just trying to keep the tank alive on Thomas. Slides to the fall by Craze, so the healer gets aggressive. 99% overtime bar has made its way in. Craze with another one. Polus got one too, so the numbers certainly with Archons. They find one more as well. The ultimate utilized by Thomas, successful, finds the kill. Risey to fall to, and that overtime bar should shrink and diminish. It's a 2-0 for exclusive Archons here on Elephant Estania. They take control.
And a good response. I mean, they came out of the gates. They had a couple of interesting hero picks there in the composition. Wasn't quite clicking, but they had enough time. They built up enough of a buffer and enough pressure to be able to change it up. They found something that eventually clicked, and a couple of really close fights there towards the death. You know, both teams stuck on 80% for quite some time, but eventually able to fight their way out of that little deficit that they built, you know, against themselves. And yeah, some good work overall in the end for the 2-0 victory.
Certainly more competitive in that second round, at least from Dank Me Later. Shuri, we'll get your thoughts here. Of course, that opening round, though, 100-0. And the swift start from Archons. They got a clean 3K, got the point from there. They just never looked back on that opening round.
Yeah, I mean, they picked a Diggy in the beginning. I guess he was messing around. And then he switched back to the characters they would have played. And then they struggled. And then I think they panicked a little bit because Rise on that Victor kept killing Crazy and was just shutting him down. And they didn't have heals. And it was getting a little rough. They did finally figure out how to keep Crazy alive. And also, Polos is one of the best tanks in the world right now. Thomas going off on both Fort and Victor, playing that off tank just really perfectly, and I mean, they were just able to live without the healer long enough to kind of put it together.
It was at least a little bit better in that second round. I think they ended up getting an 83% Dank Me Later. Does that give you any kind of hope going into Payload next?
Yeah, especially because like the troll pick was only for like 10% of that. Like they immediately switched back Polos to Ruby. And it was so good from that Victor. The Victor was all the difference in that second round. He just figured out how to shut down that healer, and after you shut down one of the best healers in the game, it gets a whole lot easier.
I guess that probably says, though, guys, that for the side of Archons, as good as they are, maybe the matchup with Dank Me Later still not quite the point where you can throw out those troll picks.
Yeah, I mean, and that's credit to Dank Me Later, who were able to exploit that at least earlier on, but it does feel like when both compositions, you know, on an equal footing or a similar footing, that, yeah, unfortunately, Dank Me Later aren't able to really keep pace, at least not on control. Maybe that dynamic will change on Escort, but unfortunately, from what we've seen over, you know, previous super seasons, typically control is where underdogs can perform, and Escort is perhaps where it gets even more challenging. So it's difficult to see them fight back from here, and for X-Argons, I'm sure they'll be eyeing off the 2-0.
I know that first round was a 100-0 Shuru, but the second round obviously far more competitive. I think in seasons gone by, a team like Take Me Later, you know, after losing that first map or first round 100-0, probably wouldn't have been able to come back as strong. So probably a good sign that they weren't affected mentally by, you know, 100-0, which is never a good thing. No, it's never a good feeling to lose in that fashion, but then to respond, have a really good round themselves. I know obviously there was the troll pick, but that wasn't for very long, so maybe gives them some hope going into Escort that they can compete, and at their best they can kind of match Argon's at least enough where it's competitive.
Oh, for sure. I mean, going against an exclusive team can be a little daunting, and then going 100-0, that's hard on anyone's mental. So seeing these guys work together as a team, they got it together and started picking Crazy. And Crazy was trying the whole time, and I mean, they were basically for 90% of that match, and it was very close. And if you can pick off that healer, like, and you know that that Victor can get it done, like, that's all you need to know is the fact that you can do it. And it shows me that, hey, this might be a lot closer than we think. Because 80% against this Argon's teams, that's nothing to laugh at. Like, these guys are a real team.
Let's go to the hero bans for our upcoming map for Escort and see if there's potentially any changes. The Aletta once again banned out. The Gloria once again banned out. So no changes, no difference going into Escort, guys.
Yeah, so bans will persist, obviously. Again, to reiterate, the Aletta, incredibly powerful, and we've seen her impact so far tonight in Glory as well. Again, with the AR, and that headshot modifier obviously continues to be very, very strong.
Are you a little bit surprised by that, Shuri, to see the exact same bans after what we saw from the first map?
Nope. The Gloria is to block one player, and then no one wants Aletta. Like, if one team doesn't ban Aletta, the other team's going to, because you saw what happened with Rinks, and like I said, it was pick your poison with him. I mean, he went 12-2 on Osa, so you had to go with the Aletta. It's the same thing here. Like, nobody wants Aletta.
As we head into Browers Dock, I want your thoughts, Shuri, as we come into this. Who have you got finishing this off? Surely Argons, right?
Yeah, Argons, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than we think.
All right, well, we'll see how it does play out. Into Browers Dock we go. Guys, we'll get your thoughts very quickly on it. Do you sense that Argons should be able to get the job done, provided they don't troll with some of their picks?
I think for me, it's not really a case of, or a question of, will they win this game? It's probably going to be how, you know, competitive is it overall. Probably expecting the 2-0 in quite a convincing fashion. I would be surprised if we see anything else. Yeah, as we head into this one, we'll see what kind of picks are going to come through and what the lineups are going to be, whether it will be, you know, a double Vanguard. We have seen already so far this evening that teams can still thrive with a single Vanguard provided they play into it correctly. On the side of ex-Argons, it is looking like it will be Jabali to kick things off, whereas on the side of Thank Me Later, they'll lean into the Ruby.
So as we head into this one, yeah, Argon's defending first, so they get an opportunity to, I guess, very early on, highlight if they are going to be as dominant here on Browers Dock as they kind of were really on Alpha as much as that second map was quite competitive. I think typically on Control, if you do kind of start off in a poor fashion or a trolling fashion, it's very easy for it to snowball. Slasher gets caught early, Polis gets the opening kill, and we begin here on Browers Dock with an Argon kill, and that's already a statement in itself. Thomas straight away onto that payload as well, and he is the one to kind of watch. If he gets taken down, suddenly that payload will be vulnerable for Dainty Later to push it and take it themselves. So Thomas, all eyes on him. Double fall, same with Crazy as well. Slasher and Monmon combining to find 2 early kills for Dainty Later. So the next couple of kills, super important. Paul's got 1, but traded. That was Rise that fall. Can they get rid of Thomas? Yes, they certainly can, and that's a good start for Dainty Later.
Yeah, good work from Slasher and the rest of the team, able to isolate that Jabali, and now this is where we probably expect ex-Argons to be quite reserved. They'll regroup, they'll wait for that Jabali to respawn, but it's important that they don't stagger picks, so God here needs to be mindful of that, but actually responds himself and finds one, so that aggression rewarded, and unfortunately for Dainty Later, unable to punish.
Yeah, Payload though at least still moving 2 on it at the moment. Thomas gets a kill onto Slasher, who was probably aggressive to push forward there, and Rise God also getting the kill onto Monmon after he got rid of Polis. Double kill though for T3 God. That's what we know, he's certainly capable, especially on that Ruby. Thank me later. Yeah, they get 50 meters, but that's all for now. And then they've just kind of ran into a bit of a wall. T3 got a Dell with a quick double onto Mochi and Rise. They will have to respawn again, though. They don't have to go too far.
And we're seeing both teams really lean into the Skadi and just how much damage that can provide, especially at close range. For the side of X-Argons, you can see God able to play behind the shield of Thomas, allowing him to close that gap and just do so much damage onto the opposing Vanguard and the rest of the team. And unfortunately for Thank Me Later, finding that quite difficult to deal with at the moment, as the point once more will be contested.
Thomas the front line once again, but even as the front line, even as Vanguard, he can still find kills. Able to do so on to Reaper, finding the Ruby out 0-2 for him. Mon also did end up falling and losing their lives. T3 God again has just been so influential. 5-0. No one from Thank Me Later is able to get into that back line. No one can also deal with Thomas. They are really struggling to get a good foothold here. Only a minute left to just take the opening checkpoint. Polos as well, again, has been so big. 3 kills for him now. Dell, Thomas, it's just all Argons in the kill feed. They'll get rid of Rise, and they can get a good stagger as well. This kill happening quite a bit after everyone else, although he's stunned. Maybe Rise can stay alive. He tries to keep his life for a bit longer and actually does a really good job in killing Polos and staying alive. Big little moment from Rise there in that situation. They've got to make the most of it. Back over to the payload. Got to get it moving. 40 seconds is all that remains. And then Dal with another big kill onto Slasher.
And eyes on God now on the Skadi. 6 kills thus far, and he's been so impactful. The Osa's taken down from Dale, and Thomas able to respond. God as well will eventually get on the action, drop the opposing Skadi. So that's Mon in the grave for a little while longer. This defense holding firm, and with 20 seconds on the clock, Thank Me Later will have one more fight left in them.
7-0 for T3 God versus Mon's 3-4. The battle of the Skadis, and a big difference. God actually having that ultimate come out at a perfect time as well. Polis also has theirs, so in terms of ult economy in favor of Argons, considering there's absolutely no time remaining. Anyone even can get onto the point? Yeah, just barely. Rise, Moichi, Reaper, all just trying to throw bodies onto the payload, but it's double Polis, and God, they just combine a quick triple kill, and that payload doesn't get very far. Only 60.9 meters, which is not a lot. They don't get the first checkpoint, and you imagine Argons should be able to match and better that.
So a good way to kick things off there on the defensive side. And unfortunately for Thank Me Later, despite their best efforts, just struggling a little bit there to, isolate players. Trying to drop the Skadi, found that challenging. The heals as well were clearly too difficult to deal with. So some good work overall. And now we'll have to see whether or not the attack can drive this one home. At only 60.9 meters, it shouldn't be
this should be pretty difficult. Yeah, especially for Argons, the way they've been playing so far in this series. They've clearly had more control over this series than Thank Me Later. And a super dominant start, super defense here on Brower's Dog. So just basically 61 meters is the requirement. Thank Me Later will need to get off to a very good start. Hard to imagine they're going to be able to withstand the push from Argons. They've given it their all. Unfortunately, not going to be enough against one of the top teams, and a couple of interesting picks as well from Thomas and Polos. So a little bit different. Just wonder again. Obviously, we saw it back on Elephant Estania, some troll picks and picks that you probably were not expecting to see. This again being one of them. I think they feel as if they are in a very commanding position that they could pull out some fun ones. T3 God got the opening kill onto Slasher. He's not messing around. Still sitting on that Skadi. Won that exchange early on. Got another kill onto Moichi. Del onto Reaper. So they're not the ones that are picking these more unused heroes, if you will, and they're the ones that are also still just finding very comfortable kills. So this allows Thomas and Polos to have a bit of fun.
Yeah, the point itself not even being contested at the moment, so Thomas able to get quite a bit of free ground here. And unfortunately, with the point not too far away, you can see that zone just on the opposing side of this initial bridge. Thank Me Later will need to find some ground on point. Rise with the shield in the hand of the Jabali will look to head that forward, and he needs to do a good job here in protecting the rest of the team.
Balls did get a bit aggressive. They're not even going to contest the point, are they? Well, Slasher comes in last second. Thomas tries to push him back off. It does actually get the kill onto Slasher. Crazy's there as well in the mix on that payload, and they've actually just gotten off the payload altogether. That is it. We're done. 2-0, just like that. How quick can this go? Sometimes that was rapid. That was maybe even faster than our first series. Argon's absolutely steamrolling against Ain't Me Later in the end. Far too good. I think somewhat expected though.
I mean, as we keep reiterating, right, that exclusive brand and the rosters that they have are clearly too strong. And Take Me Later, while they put up a good fight in the second round of Control, unfortunately on the side of Escort, not quite their day.
Not quite.
Defensively, unfortunately, they were picked apart in the end.
Shuri, we'll get your thoughts and we'll get you back in. Hopefully you didn't go too far because that was obviously quite quick, especially on Brower's dock. But really, for the series as a whole, Elephant Estonia and even Brower's dock, really you could tell that Argons were the team that had total control over the series and the matchup.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that they're the best. And also there's a reason that the number 2 team decided to pick up 4 players that were different. I mean, to have the confidence God has, which, I mean, we saw it on Scotty. God, you can probably play with anyone when you're that good. But he chose these guys instead of the team he got second with. Like, that's crazy to get second in one of these tournaments when you're making good money in second. Like, to just completely redo the team. And also, you're taking a lot of the players that I think came in 4th or 3rd. So, like, but they just got so much better in the last 2 months, and it really shows. And they just work so well together as well.
Well, what was the difference for you here on Brower's dock? Why? Because obviously the second map on Elephant Estonia was quite close, 83 to 100, so there was at least a bit of a contest. But this was very one-sided. So what was the difference for you on Brower's dock?
Exclusive Argons literally picked everything that counters Victor and nothing else.
That's a pretty big difference point, and obviously, I guess for Date Me Later, that means that their time here in the finals is up. What are some of the takeaways that they can have against a team like Argons? Because obviously, you kind of get the experience from playing against them, Shuri, and sort of learning from them. What would be some of the key takeaways?
Rise is very good at Victor. If you can make Argons want to change to stop your Victor, you got a really good Victor there. Just work around that if you can, and then if they do counter it, you might need to pick something else. But on that Control, you saw Rise was so good at Victor. It's crazy. And to stop Del and to be able to stop Crazy on his heals, very difficult. So Rise, definitely a good player there. And I would just kind of work around that and just get your strategies around him stopping that healer, and then you moving from there.
Well, in the end, 2-0 and then 2-0 for our first 2 games today. We go to a short break. We come back. One last game remains. It's easy, and it's WKE.
Reach for the sky, ain't no PTO time. I'm just trying to get the work. 1, 2, show 'em how we do. 3, 4, turn it up more. 5, 6, can you do it like this? 7, 8, and don't be late now. Everybody come on. Everybody come on. Everybody come on. Everybody come on.
Like another 5, let me see you work. Like another 5, let me see you work. Work it out, work it out. Like another 5, let me see you work.
Who you know bustin' like this? 2 by 2 plus all my friends. They don't know how we got in. 1, 2, 3, I plead the 5th. Work it out like a marathon. And they hit 'em with the high 5 of motor car. Swing for the fences like Barry Bond. Got the track running wild like the Amazon. Ay.
Work that, work that. Like another 5, let me see you work. Work it out, work it out. Like another 5, let me see you work.
Everybody come on.
1, 2, 3, on.
Everybody come on.
Work that, work that.
Everybody come on.
1, 2, 3, on.
Everybody come on.
Work that, work that. 1, 2, 3, on. Work that, work that. 1, 2, 3, on. Work that, work that. Come with me. Work that, work that, work that, work that, work
Guns up, it's a new day, make the fire. Put your boots on, we about to get higher. Makeup, show up, pick a side, yeah, bring it, got it, pop it. Hey, starting soon, it's a new day, pick a trigger. Fill up the cup away, bigger, better, better sugar. Bring it, got it, pop it. It's a new generation, pick a side, got it. Just don't get to zero. Let go, aim your arrow.
Well, it's been a swift day here for the T3 Arena League 2-0 into 2-0 for our first two matches. I'm not too sure if that's going to change either with one game remaining today. It could actually be maybe one of the more one-sided matchups that we've got. ECWKE coming up for what will be our last series. It was meant to be our first. It has been postponed. We can finally get there.
At least we're still getting it, which is good to see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it will provide some entertainment value and not be as one-sided as the last match we did have. Will it push all three modes and maps, though? Probably not. But we'll set the expectations low, so hopefully they can be surpassed.
Well, Shuri is always someone that is quite positive. Shuri, this is a matchup that for us on paper maybe even looks like the most one-sided of all of the games today, even though we've had a bunch of 2-0s. But we know that you like to be positive. What have you got for WKE? Have they got any chance?
Well, I solo grinded to Superstar this past week, and WKE, to the people on here, Tactics in particular, was in a lot of my matches and a very good tank in all of those matches, and helped me actually get there by being on my team a lot. So at least there's that, and honestly, like, I haven't seen what they have as a team put together, but I know they play together a lot, so they may have some stuff that can surprise us, but it is exclusive easy, so...
Yep.
We'll
It's going to have to be a big surprise.
Very much so.
WKE.
Christmas comes very, very early.
It certainly does. Well, Christmas is coming early for our viewers as well. Giveaway code down the bottom, popping on up. Make sure you guys get that giveaway code, which there it is. Bang, straight away. Get on in. I don't know. Use it. Get involved, and hopefully you guys get some goodies from it. As we head into this game, obviously, you mentioned that it's going to have to be a big surprise from WKE. For obviously exclusive easy, though, you basically said you kind of expect them to go the whole way. If we look at this bracket now, obviously the lower side's been filled out, Argons versus Difference. But easy, if they do end up beating WKE, they've got to take on Beasters. I mean, that's a pretty good matchup, Shuri.
It'll definitely be really good, especially now that Rinks is on that team. Like, that just makes a team that I already thought was very good, like, just that much better, as you saw what he could do. So, but we're still on WK. Like, they do have a chance. You can win these. Like, somebody on EZ wasn't able to play because I think internet issues. So, like, they may be lagging. Like, so, like, there are things that can factor in to actually make this a fair match.
Yeah, potentially so, guys. I think if there is actually maybe, say, one player out, that could just even things up ever so slightly. We don't know, of course, if that's confirmed or not, but moving into this particular game, Easy versus WKE, I think that everything does suggest to this being a pretty one-sided game.
Yeah, I mean, that is pretty much the storyline that has been set, and it's up to WKE to try and, break that trend or defy that storyline. It's going to be tough, and we know that in T3, because the matches and the format can be quite compact, if you have just a bad couple of minutes or whatever, that can pretty much be defining as to the context of the match. So they'll have to come out of the gate strong and bring a surprise factor into this matchup, as Shuri has kind of alluded to, and we'll see whether or not they can achieve that. Clearly, as mentioned, they do have some individual prowess, but at this kind of level, you need to turn it up another notch.
Yeah, you certainly do. Obviously, we saw in our last series, two contrasting sides of the control, where it was 100-0 for Argons, and then at least 83-100 made it a little bit more competitive. I imagine WKE is going to have to do something similar to that. We'll go to the hero bands for this first map of Elephant Estania. between WKE and Easy Gaming and see where we go. And it once again still remains to be the Aletta band show. No surprises there. The Neon returns as well as it was back in the first series. So again, nothing too crazy when it comes to the bands.
Yeah, I mean, as mentioned now, Aletta incredibly powerful in the current meta and in her current state, so we're expecting her to either more than likely get banned, but if not banned, she'll definitely be picked, so that's not really a surprise, and Neon persists as well, so we haven't seen anything too surprising come out in that regard, and I guess the conversation will probably transition to whether or not we'll see a single or a double Vanguard lineup, as we have seen teams experiment with both so far this evening.
We've got the matchup, we've seen the bands, we've got everything kind of ready to go, Sheree, but we'll get your final thoughts and predictions.
I want to see Rafa just go off. That is my prediction, and then Slime will probably also try to get a very good streak as well. I mean, we could see some cool stuff, and I just want to see WKE put a fight out there and just show us something cool.
Yeah, what would be kind of the pass mark for them for WKE? Is it just being competitive here, or is it maybe even getting a map?
I mean, that's probably what they want to do. I mean, they can. The biggest thing is you have to kill Super Bean. He's so good. He's the best healer in the world for a reason. If you can take him out, then you have a chance to kill the others.
All right, thank you very much, Shuri. We'll get your thoughts again at the conclusion of Elephant Estania. We'll head into the first match of this best of 3 series. Easy Gaming, WKE, it's our final match of the day. And hopefully, for the sake of WKE, they can find a way to be competitive here on Elephant Estania. It's a tough ask, it's a tall order against the likes of Easy Gaming. As obviously Shuri pointed out, some absolute key star players here. Super Bean, someone that's going to be difficult to deal with. Rafa's always a very influential player. Slime as well. So names across the board that we've been seeing for many a time now.
Yeah, we're likely going to see that Hooling as well get played throughout, and as you can see those banners, there's some intimidating stats from the side of this particular roster, as you know, we kind of expect heading into this particular matchup. So the onus very much, again, to reiterate, on WKE here to throw a curveball to start off this control point well. If they don't win control, it's pretty much a line through their name and being able to win out the series.
Kombucha, obviously one player that we've seen before, so definitely some experience from him as we head into this game. Rafa, someone to keep an eye on, of course, on that Osis, and he's someone that can really put it to good use. We've been able to probably see him perform at the very highest of high levels. Super Bean, of course, as mentioned earlier by Shuri, someone to keep an eye on too. So we head into the first map of this best of 3 here in the final match of the quarterfinals, and we'll see whether or not WKE can get off to a good start. First couple of kills going to be important, but it is Slime that wins the little 1v1 against Sneak. That's a good start for Easy Gaming. That gives them a bit of a chance to overwhelm the point, but it is actually taken by WKE to begin with. Tactics comes back, didn't have the shield out initially, took some big chunk of damage, was able to stay alive though. Rafa, of course, gets a snipe early on. He's already on the board. Owlicious loses their life. Kombucha will fall on the Labula. Xenia 2. Tactics basically by themselves now on that Jabali. Rafa eventually gets the kill. That's 3 from him, and that's Easy Gaming with the point.
Still though, they'll have to fight from behind, at least a small margin at the moment. Rafa, 4 kills so far, and we know how mechanically gifted he is and how much damage he'll be able to output. Tactics now in the front line, he'll replace, and with that shield up, it does limit Rafa's ability to hit the back line, but it doesn't take away the ability for others to chip in. The Hooling having an impact there, 2 kills so far, the bow and arrow in hand, and if this backline is not disrupted by WKE, if they're not able to dive these particular heroes that are doing so much damage, they are going to find it very, very difficult to sustain their front line.
Jay full white there momentarily, did end up getting a kill anyway onto Owlicious. That was the ultimate use, 3 kills there, 40% now for Easy Gaming after it was WKE that got initial control of the point, but since then all the kills have been just absolutely one-sided in the favor of Easy Gaming. Double from Rafa with the ultimate, deals with that shield towards Kombucha, who's just trying to run away on that fade after dropping the bubble. Surely gets sniped here, does. Nice shot from Rafa, tries to push forward and look for more into Owlicious. Rafa's just having an absolute field day here on the Osis, has 7, wants to go for 8, does probably get very aggressive and taking some damage, does find the kill, also lost their life, traded by Xenia, so eventually shot down. 66% though for Easy Gaming, and they're having a field day.
And the push here from WKE now staggered, and staggered even more so with tactics down, so the Jabali falls. The Ruby now will take the primary Vanguard position, look to establish shields, get some ground, but unfortunately chipped down so low. The heals as well now compromised, and Easy really just playing with their food at the moment. They've been doing a really good job after an initial slow start and don't look like they'll be losing this point anytime soon.
Super Bean running back, got a bit low, got a bit greedy and aggressive, 90% though, and gets full total control of this game. JFYO just actually picked up a wicked 3K, has 7 and nothing as well in the stats. This round is done after WKE got the initial point control. Easy Gaming basically 100-0 after getting their first control of the point. After a 17% start for WKE, they never even looked likely to get it back because none of the fights were even on the point.
Yeah, I mean, once they got that ball rolling, they then isolated their opposition in towards the spawn, and WKE were far too staggered and were unable to get value from the Jabali and the Ruby. Those shields didn't, offer enough protection against the Huling and the Osis in the backline, who were continuing their farm, and any, opportunity from WKE there to hit them with flankers was just basically completely decimated. So really good work there from EZ, and pretty much the result so far that we came in expecting, and for them it's about doing more of the same here from round 2.
Yeah, very dominant. Obviously for WKE, the one good sign for them was they were at least able to posture well to begin the particular round, get control of the point initially, couldn't really sustain that, and once really Rafa started to get going, same with Yobi. I have no idea how to say that guy's name. I've seen it before, and I remember probably being told it, but I've completely forgotten it. I don't even know how you come up with a name like that, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Just smash the keyboard and you just can't give it your name. Either way, into the second round we go. Of course, WKE once again starting well on the point. This is where really it starts to go the way of Easy Gaming pretty quickly. Although Slime actually loses their life. Kombucha with a good start as well onto said IFJO, and to be fair, they've started also with some unnatural picks too in terms of the hero selections. We saw this in that last series as well. You remember back on the second map when it was the Argons that decided to pick some sort of troll picks. Didn't work out well for them, and I think maybe it could be the case here as well for Easy Gaming. Super Bean though with the Labula gets the kill onto the Jabali of tactics. Malicious on to a big kill, and that's at least putting that Osus to good use for the side. WKE up to 25% now for them, so at least getting some really good point control, sustaining it. At least that's really a big turnaround from that first round where they weren't able to sustain that initial point control for too long.
See if the point will flip, but unfortunately for Easy, that gap is opening up. However, the kills to come through, and we should see the point flip in a moment. The objective has been claimed, and we'll now see catch up. The Jabali obviously not seeing value in this particular round. Some interesting picks though. The Gatlin getting some playtime once more. The Fade as well to come in as well here for WKE, and we'll see if more stuns can be landed. But unfortunately, once again, echoes of the previous round with WKE staggered once more.
Double kill for Rafa, making it work now. Wasn't able to have as much of an impact initially when WKE had control of the point, but now that it's flipped the other way around, Rafa's able to get involved once again here. Slime gets the kill onto Malicious with the ultimate, so that's the Ulsus again, just not able to have an impact there from Malicious in terms of the last 20 or 30 seconds after a really good start where he basically got out to a 3-0 start. IJF again gets a double, has 5 now in the round, is actually fragging out for Easy Gaming, top fragger in this particular round. Rafa with the kill onto Sneak. He's kind of struggling a little bit down the Scotty, 1 and 3, and up to 50% for Easy Gaming, and once again in total control.
Yeah, Tactics just denied there, trying to get towards the hill pad, but unfortunately for him, taken down, and now it's all about Easy locking out the point and being aggressive. Rafa though, taken down. Will that be enough to weaken this setup from Easy? It's probably unlikely. Ultimates available as well, especially from those supportive heroes, so getting in and taking down these Vanguards will be tricky for WKE.
Up to 71%, Slime getting aggressive again, good tag, coming out very handy chip damage to the side of WKE. Zinnia lost their life, but back up now, 0-4, unable to really get an impact in this round either. 20% to go, and again still full total control of the point established for Easy Gaming. JFYO quite low, eventually finished off by Kombucha, doing okay to at least kind of have an impact on the fade, but Ozlik with the kill onto Sneak again, just shutting down that Scardy, unable to get involved at all. Super Bean to the backline on the Labula, but the point has actually flipped. WKE get control at 89% for Easy Gaming, and a couple of kills too for Tactics and Owalicious. That's a pretty handy couple of kills just to stall things out, keep control of the point, and deny any quick retake from Easy Gaming.
Yeah, Easy pretty much are one team fight away, though, from being able to flip the point back towards their way. Their ult economy as well looking good. They'll have a total of at least 4 for the next fight. WKE lacking in that department, so they'll need to fight from behind. Sneak will be under quite a bit of pressure here. He does have an ultimate available, but only 1 in 4 so far in the game, and he's taken down.
Oh, big kill onto Kombucha. And all of it, although Owalicious gets a double kill, make that 3 in quick succession for Owalicious, putting the Ossus to good work, 9 and 4. And has been the standout for WKE in this round. The point, though, has flipped back into Easy Gaming. They're going to try and get on it very quickly. Kombucha trying to make their way over 99%. Just jumps on the point in time, quite literally. Sneak is able to also get on there too, but they both lose their life immediately. That is 11-5 now for FSHB. I tried to get it out there. Either way, they win that 2-0.
Well, your pronunciation certainly not as good as the gameplay in that particular one, but a 2-0 scoreline in favour of the favourites.
Yeah.
And probably played out in expected fashion. We saw some intriguing picks on that second round, which did probably put Easy in an uncomfortable position there at some point, but they made it work in the end. They didn't even really change the composition up all that much. We saw interesting picks like the Gatlin as well make a return. So a funny old one, but a good start.
We'll get Shuri back in, and of course, as was the case with Argons, and now is the case for Easy Gaming Shuri, they've decided to bring in some of the more interesting picks, if you will, in that second map, or in that second round. The first round, it was all conventional, all normal picks. They won it pretty convincingly. Second round, they were like, let's have some fun.
Yeah, that's my fault as the analyst for not reminding you about the new strat where you pick 4 healers and Gatlin. And so this strat, it has a 100% win rate in the Arena League so far.
1 from 1?
Yeah, no, this is the only time. But, hey, it worked.
Yeah, it certainly did. Obviously, though, I think it really speaks volumes to probably the comfortability for Easy in this matchup that they could even just kind of go and pick these kind of heroes and just have that kind of fun and still also win. It's not like, I mean, to be fair, it was obviously a little bit more tricky. They did obviously give up a bit more of the control point to WKE, but it's not as if it really ended up being that bad either. Once they actually got control of the point, it was all easy for Easy.
Yeah, I mean, these are the scariest players in the game. Like, if you have to have a top 10, they're all in it for sure. And they might even be in a top 5 if you had to do that. So it is a super team. And they actually have been a team for all the Arena Leagues. So it just makes it that much harder to get them in. So it's really hard to play against these guys. And they're so good at every character. Their hero pool is literally endless. So, like, they can play healers, all of them, and just do well. It's actually crazy how good these guys are.
Now give us a quick little reminder, a little bit of a catch-up. How do you pronounce old mate's name again?
Just call him IJ.
IJ.
That's what we do.
Do you happen to know, like, the story behind how that name was created? I anticipate he's just smashed the keyboard and that's come up.
Yep. I sent it to you in Discord. You cannot save that on live stream.
Right, perfect. Even better then. I'll go and check that for myself later on. Thank you so much for that. Obviously, heading into what will be Brower's Dock, Shuri, I can't help but imagine if Easy pick the normal lineup that we'd expect, they should have a pretty comfortable time against WK.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are just so insane. Like I said, like, they're all the best players in the world, and they have good teamwork. Are they unbeatable? Like, no. The people on Beasters have that kind of skill and teamwork, but it takes so much to be able to beat these guys.
So in the end, guys, Easy have made a very dominant start here on Control. 1-0 up. Of course, Escort still to play. We've had nothing but 2-0s today. I'm assuming that will remain.
Unfortunately for WKE, that's probably going to be the likely outcome. The fact that Easy are able to cap off a 2-rounder with the quad heal Gatlin combo does not paint a particularly pretty picture for them. So we'll just have to see how, I guess, probably how dominant this performance is from EZ, and then transition the conversation into their longer term prospects in this bracket, and whether or not we're probably going to see them in that grand final and perhaps the favourites once more to win it.
We'll see if the hero bands make a change. So far it's been nothing but Aletta and the Gloria. It remains to be somewhat similar. The Aletta again banned out for the Neon to follow, which of course has probably been the other sort of big ban. Has been really, it's been Aletta and either the Neon or the Gloria really so far today, guys.
Yeah, I mean, taking care of one of those pocket healers, so maybe that heal strat from the 4-stack will be weakened a little bit, sure, perhaps after that one.
Yeah, but one thing I do want to highlight on WK8, All Alicious had like an insane 4-piece there on Osas, and it doesn't matter if these guys are playing healer; those are some nice shots. So I mean, there is some like rays of hope that come from this. So I definitely put him on Osas and just do their best.
Very quickly, get your final thoughts and predictions, Shuri, before we head into Browers Dock.
I'm gonna go with a hot take and say it's easy.
Wow, didn't see that one coming. Thank you so much, Shuri. We'll see if you're correct at the conclusion of this payload. Second map in this particular series, of course, Easy Gaming with a 1-0 lead, guys. And but I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm also going to probably go with Easy.
I'm going to be controversial. I'm going to say easy.
Oh my goodness, let's not get carried away with ourselves. Not too long before we get into this one. Just waiting on one to join in. But yeah, look, obviously for Easy Gaming, the one that I'm looking forward to when we've spoken about the bracket, but the Beasters matchup, I anticipate that's going to be a fun one tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it could be relatively competitive. Will its Easy roster be expected to win that one? Probably as well, but hopefully a little bit more hotly contested.
Certainly not going to bring out 4 healers if they get one right.
Well, they might, but they'll probably get punished a bit more for it.
Yeah, if they opt to do that one, that would be quite fascinating. We head into Browers Dock for what could potentially, maybe likely, be our final map of the day here for the finals, Super Season 2. It's WKE and Easy Gaming. Over to Browers Dock we go. We'll see whether or not WKE can make amends for that control defeat. Obviously, the second round was a little bit better, but there was a big reason why it was a little bit better for them. Easy Gaming having some fun with their hero selections as we get our way into this. It will be on the defense first for Easy Gaming.
And I'm sure they'll be quite comfortable in that position, and arguably means that they'll be able to close this out in a more timely fashion. I can see Jakey getting quite excited at the prospect of seeing Easy Gaming flex their muscles on the defense.
Well, the curious thing for me is always, what can WKE get from this scenario? How far can they get? Can they get to that first checkpoint? You know, so obviously I know that kind of speaks in a defeatist tone, but that's just the nature of it. We've seen a lot of the matches today kind of play out in this kind of scenario where the team that has been clearly dominant, if they go on the attack first, yeah, they get the whole way, and they get it inside of 3 minutes or something, and then the other team ends up struggling to get it at a spawn, and it's really a non-contest.
Well,
so it's a good opportunity for them to at least not have the pressure of being like, oh, we have to get to the end. It's like, let's get as far as we can, and then it's like we've got at least a check mark. So
they've gone from the 4-stack heal plus Gatling combo to now the 4-stack Vanguard with the heals of the Labula. So this could be quite the lineup, and we'll see if WKE are able to exploit it. Look at the stack here from EZ, just sitting in the corner, waiting for their opponents to fall into their grasp.
Well, they are going to have some fun with it once again, and the fun was there too on Alpha Estania. They still got the win. This does kind of maybe allow WKE to get out of spawn and not have to worry too much in terms of the damage that does come out. IJF actually loses his life early on the fade, and they're actually all very, very low. This is the thing, though. If you go with a 4 Vanguard setup, it's not exactly like you've got a whole lot of damage, and it's also a little bit disrespectful, and WKE actually just come out of spawn and like, you guys are going to do that. We're good enough to at least punish you. We're not going to lose that easily. No change-ups immediately from Easy Gaming. They're going to try and commit to this and go for this, especially towards that first checkpoint. But yeah, this will at least give WKE a little bit of hope.
I mean, yeah, that's exactly the point, right? The damage output here is not going to be ideal. Perhaps when ults come up here for Easy Gaming, things will become a little bit easier, but Rafa now taken low. The Labula as well needs to try and stay alive and provide value for the healers, but Easy Gaming being staggered at the moment, and I think they're going to have to change things up because this is certainly not going to be sustainable, and as these next spawns come through, they'll respond accordingly.
They just don't have any damage. That's just the biggest issue, is they just don't have the damage output. So, like, strangely enough, with the healer setup that they had on Elephant Estonia, they actually still had some pretty decent damage coming through from those healers, but the Vanguards are just not able to find the damage output here. And so actually checkpoint does get captured, and credit to WKE. I mean, this is where you need to punish these kind of teams that are just trying to bully you and just pick these more nonsensical lineups and say, okay, we can beat you with anything. Well, WKE need to be good enough to say, okay, you guys are good. You guys will beat us. If you play your normal comps, you will beat us. But we're not going to let you beat us with these kind of compositions.
Yeah, not rolling over easily, and they've now been able to build up good ultimate economy for this next particular push. Kombucha, though, in the grave, so that may weaken their push a little bit. Tactics good for one, eventually traded out, though, by Bean, who's going 2-2 thus far. Point, though, being contested. Eyes now on IJ, taken down as well. And I tell you what, WKE not doing a half-bad job here. They're edging closer and closer towards perhaps pushing that payload all the way to the final point.
Yeah, and honestly, it's also good for the mental of WKE in the sense that it's like, okay, well, yeah, they're good, they'll beat us, but they can't at least beat us like this and with this composition. But they could definitely, I feel like, do that to a lot of other teams from the side of Easy Gaming. So it must be good for WKE to at least know that they can't get bullied in that kind of fashion. The payload has stopped. It has reached a point, though, because Easy Gaming is starting to get on top in defending it and getting a lot of these kills. They've certainly got a lot more firepower available to them, so not quite as a wet noodle of an attack, if you will, from Easy Gaming. At least they're able to finally get some kills, because that first half, they couldn't get a single kill until that checkpoint basically got captured. The full Vanguard setup was just awful. Abolitious continues to do well. 5-1, double kill there onto IJ along with Rafa, getting rid of two big players for Easy Gaming. Opens things up, gives them a nice little advantage here momentarily.
Yeah, Rafa had been doing a pretty good job in the front line, getting aggressive. He was taken down, opened up an opportunity for WKE to aggress, and that payload now being pushed forward once more. But getting it around this corner will prove to be tricky as the line of sight opens up for the defense. Sneak up top, getting aggressive with the Osis. We'll see if he's able to isolate a pick or two. And Sneak, in fact, will find one in response himself. So that is, yeah, good work there from the Osis. It finds another there onto Rafa as well. So Sneak getting good value, 10-3 for him so far. A lot of damage on the point as Tactics pops an ult and able to get even more for the side of the attack. And WKE have pushed this payload to its limits against an opposition where they shouldn't be getting it this far.
Yeah, just ticked over 4 minutes. We know that Easy Gaming will be certainly capable of being able to better this, but they will have to also make sure they don't mess around on their own attacking half. Kombucha and Malicious both fall. Double from Slime gets rid of Tactics, and again further stalls out this payload. So look, I'm not sitting here thinking this is going to be the shocking result. WKE certainly have punished Easy Gaming for picking, you know, a rather strange lineup to begin with, and they've obviously had to work hard to get themselves back in as a favored team. But it's still over 4.5 minutes, and we know Easy Gaming have the capabilities of pushing this the whole way in under 3.
So again, good work here from Rafa, aggressing, staggering, good ult usage before as well, and able to collect himself a couple of kills and looking for more. Sneak just around the corner, dealt with by IJ, so some good work. Minute on the clock now for this push, and Rafa continues to pose problems and ask questions of this attack, which has now well and truly stalled out and staggered the shield. Now up from Tactics to try and provide some cover, but it's 5 straight for Rafa, 10 and 5 for him so far in this round. And just as things look like they were getting out of control here for Easy, they once again, you know, establish themselves and say, hey, we're still here to take this seriously and we're not going to take any second chances.
35 seconds remaining and a chance for WKA to finish off this round, but they lose Tactics at a pretty important time. Rafa then gets a second onto Zinnia, so 0 and 8 for Zinnia. Not ideal. Ultimate in hand as well on the support role. Super Beam with a good frag as well. Same with old Slick. So all of the frags coming out from Easy Gaming at this point where there's only 15 seconds remaining. It's not a lot of time, and we get to that 6-minute mark, which does probably mean that Easy Gaming should have an easy time on their own attack. They're not going to have to worry too much about the time. They had some fun. They picked some intriguing heroes to start with here on Brower's Dock, but in the end, the 6 minutes are up for WKE. They don't quite get to the end, and it does give Easy Gaming a really good opportunity to close out this series.
Yeah, I mean, once they went back and returned to the meta comp, they were clearly the better team. So expecting them to bring out that said meta comp, but not take any second chances here. You'd be bold to experiment on this.
Honestly,
first
I'm
push and lose it.
I'm half expecting them to maybe still try some shenanigans, especially maybe in that first checkpoint area. Although, to be fair, once you actually capture the first checkpoint, you get a lot more time in the second area of the map than you actually do in the first half. So there's a world in which they'll take this first half seriously, and then from there they can troll a little bit if they want.
I wouldn't be taking any second chances though.
Nah,
It's too risky.
I don't think so. I mean, this looks 6 minutes, so they've got a lot of time. They know that they're not going to be in a rush. They're not going to be in a hurry. It's going to be very difficult to defend for the side of WKE, as great of a half as that was. And look, honestly, even trolling aside, they still got further than I actually anticipated, even with the 4 Vanguard setup. I was probably expecting that to be a little bit more difficult to break down. Like, I thought that it was going to be a case of, okay, we won't be able to kill you, but you won't be able to kill us. And that was actually not the case at all. Easy Gaming could not actually kill WKE at all, but they were pretty comfortably getting the kills on the Vanguard. So credit to WKE. They dealt with that little ambush at the start. They got the first checkpoint really comfortably, and then, yeah, eventually stalled out once the right composition was chosen by Easy Gaming. Also, like with the opening kill onto Tactics, Jabali on Jabali Crime. Double Vanguard setup once again here, and it is Easy Gaming already on the payload, pushing forward out early.
Yeah, eyes here on Avalicious getting some good damage at range, but no one on the point to contest and help facilitate this. And as you can see, the shield game there on the payload, difficult to break down. Now stalling out his ability to do damage. He's trying his best to isolate picks here that are uncovered, but just such a compact attack here from Easy Gaming. They are all stacking the point in such a way that it is very, very challenging for this defense to break it down, and no one able to contest. The payload continues to move forward, and there has basically been no blemishes on this first push.
Yeah, and the problem here as well is some of those more squishy characters for the side of WKE aren't even really in a good position to jump onto that payload, because they'll just die instantaneously. That's just the nature of the stack from Easy Gaming. Slide back up to full health. Payload checkpoint confirmed in 1 minute and 13 seconds. Speedrun territory. They don't have to go too much further down. They've got 4.5 minutes. They can use all of that clock. And so, as I said, they can have some fun with things if they want from here. They've got a lot of time. Sneak stuck at the back line. He's just got caught out. Tactics low. Sneak does eventually lose his life to IJ. That's a nice kill. And that, again, just further limits the ability for WKE to stop this payload. It has not stopped, basically, since it started.
Yeah, it's really the turret there from the Gatlin in combination with the Jabali shield. Difficult to break down, but Gatlin does eventually fall. Point now finally contested by WKE. We've been asking for it, and I'm sure they've been keen to get on that point and stall it out, at least somewhat during this round, and finally they'll be able to. We'll see now how Easy Gaming collect themselves. So many ults available for this push.
It was Kombucha before that was able to get a couple of kills, but then eventually loses their life for this initial push now from Easy Gaming, getting closer and closer to that checkpoint area. Basically another 29 meters or so. It's not a lot. Ozlek and IJ both combined get a kill each on Zinnia and Avalicious, and Tactics to then fall very swiftly after. Only 0 and 4 to the 5-0 of Ozlek. It's a big difference in the Jabalis in this match. Tactics will come back with an ultimate available. Same with Zinnia, so they've at least got something that can contend and stop this payload. 3.5 meters away. It continues to just push closer and closer. Sneak unable to have the impact on the Osses as he did earlier in the first half. Ozlek gets the kill onto Avalicious. They are falling one by one. They're just trying to stall and throw bodies at this payload to deny just a little bit longer. Easy Gaming being able to finish this off in very quick time. It is actually starting to fall back slightly. Big kill onto Kombucha though. Trades go out for both teams, pretty evenly matched at the moment. Coming back towards the payload, 0.9 meters to go though. Super Beam trying to get involved on the Labula, does so, clears the payload. That's the game, that's the series. 2-0 to Easy Gaming against WKE. They will progress forward from the quarterfinals to the semi-finals for the rest of this tournament. In the end, they had some fun in that particular map of Browerstock, but they still win comfortably.
Yeah, once they tightened up their composition, played meta and played super compact, especially on that attack. Pretty much no one stepping off the payload in that first round. They were far too dominant, and it just couldn't be broken down by the defense, simply put. So good work there from Easy. WKE back to the drawing board.
Shuri, what we've learned today, though, 4 healers, certainly better than 4 Vanguards.
Apparently. The thing is, like, I think they started that off as a troll with the 2 healer, 2 tank, and then having IJ on Gatlin. But the thing is, when you have Iris, it gives you a 10% damage buff, and then Jabali gives you a 24% damage buff. And so what they did is they just put 2 shields on both sides of IJ, gave him 24% more damage, and he just killed everybody while the cart just moved him along. I've never seen that happen, but that's an interesting strategy that might actually be real.
Yeah, that attacking half from Easy Gaming was very insane with the Gatlin on the payload, and obviously nothing that could be done really from WKE. It's kind of interesting how you can go from one half where you're pretty clearly trolling, then the second half where you're actually bringing out a bit of a strat.
Well, I mean, I guess many would probably look at the composition before it got played and said, hey, maybe this is a troll pick as well. And I guess in the sense of it being a bit of a slightly, varied composition to what we would expect, especially, the Gatlin being brought into play after not really seeing much recently, was quite intriguing. But as Shuri alluded to, that might actually be a genuine strategy with the buffs on display and the cover that is provided to that Gatlin. Maybe going forward, that could be something that persists, and we'll have to see some of the other better teams in the bracket potentially have to counter-strike that. So maybe after watching today's broadcast, they'll be keeping a key eye on that and thinking of ways that they can break it down.
Another really strong performance from Sneak, especially in that first half. Ended up getting 11 plus, I think, in the end, Shuri. So, I mean, at least some good takeaways from WKE. And more importantly, as I was saying in the broadcast, is they can at least sit back and say, well, they at least couldn't bully us. They couldn't get away with the silly 4 healers or 4 vanguards and their silly picks. They actually had to beat them properly with the right compositions. And that in itself is already a good takeaway for WKE.
Oh, definitely. And also Kombucha had some pretty promising multi-kills that ended up stopping pushes, and he also did that in control too, breaking open some things where he could get the hill. So Kombucha also had some pretty promising moments there as well.
Yeah, Kombucha certainly was a standout as well. So 2-0, Easy Gaming, way too good for WKE. We'll go to the bracket to really highlight where things now conclude at the end of the day. 4 matches, 3 of which were played, and it now means Easy Gaming and Beasters on the upper side, and on the lower side, Argons will take on Team Difference. Of course, they had the forfeit win over the Wallies, so in the end, we haven't really seen them, and there's probably not the highest of expectations against a team, especially at the caliber of Argons, guys. I think this is leading to maybe another sort of exclusive showdown. Easy Gaming and Argons potentially to meet in the grand final.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're pitching, and I would probably back you on that particular prediction. I think Beasters could put up a fight, but I mean, if Easy cooking, as we saw on that, that's that attack on payload, and they have more in the bank and more ready to go, which they probably do. Who knows, Beasters could find themselves having to really counter strat on the fly, which is going to make that a challenging game even more difficult. So Easy Gaming take on X Argons. That's probably what the grand final will shape up to be. But I'm all for an upset.
Do you agree with that, Shuri? Do you kind of sense, looking at that bracket, that it's kind of shaping up to be Easy versus Argons? Obviously, we know Beasters are a good team, and there's a chance there. But in terms of probably the teams more favoured, Easy and Argons certainly looking like they might meet in the grand final.
They are, but I do want to say one thing. Difference actually has like a team change, their name change. They were in the finals for both the first and second Arena League, so they are a team. They're a staple to the scene, basically. So it's not just some random new team. They are, but they're still going to be an underdog. So it is going to be a fight, though, because they do scrims every single night. They put the work in more than literally any other team. So if there's any team that's going to come and like upset something, it's going to be them. But also, Beasters with the addition of Rinks is so good. Like, Rinks could not be killed. And that was a very, very talented team they played against. So, like, I really want to see how that goes.
Really want to see that as well. Of course, all of that happening tomorrow. Before we do close things out, another giveaway code popping up on the screen here down below. So if you want to get your goodies and enjoy all of those, make sure to input that particular code, and then that way you can get some goodies. We'll very quickly close things out. Shuri, I'll get your final thoughts on the day and how you think things panned out.
I think Beasters definitely came out strong and proved that, hey, like, we need to be in that top 3 team conversation. So that's something big that, I mean, I think kind of changed. They were one of the better teams, but I think they're showing we're on par with the best.
Gus?
Well, I'll just follow up on that. Can they prove that in their next game, right? It's going to be a big challenge for them to take down the beasts that are Easy Gaming. So looking forward to that matchup. And then, of course, leading into the best of 5 grand final. Lots of exciting T3 arena still to come.
Certainly. So, of course, we'll be returning tomorrow to close out the season finals here for Super Season 2. Same time, same place. Hopefully, we'll see everyone there for what will be a hopefully massive conclusion, especially that grand final. If it does end up being Easy versus Argon, that is certainly a matchup you won't want to miss. Don't count out difference, don't count out beasts. We've got arguably the 4 best teams remaining, so make sure you tune in tomorrow and we'll see you there.
with me, talk with me for a little bit. Let's get into it. Walk with me, hard times, low key, a minute down. Way back afternoon chills. Eastside dads getting lost in stories. Sunbathe watches and stills. It's for freedom, a kingdom, so weightless and tender. Chasing it at our own pace. Cast a cat, it will be okay. Give and take, never hesitate. One by one, we keep on coming. Walk with me, talk with me for a little bit. Let's get into it. Walk with me, hard times, low key, a minute down. Walk with me, talk with me. Walk with me, talk